Up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
All right, good evening. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Here we are above you, 250 miles above your imagination in the International Fake Station. Trying our damnedest to not get tangled up in these wires and bullshit that we've got up here. Of course, I'm joined by my Chinese handler, Some Ting Wong, and he just makes sure that I toe the line while we're up here, and he just acts like he's back there working on science, because that's what we do here, is science. I saw Sean had shown up in here under his Hawkins guitar account, said some coward blocked me. Yes, Sean, you add nothing to the fucking conversation. We're sick of you. And so we decided to not clutter our space up with your nonsense. So that's where we're at with that. So I thought we'd check out something kind of interesting I saw here tonight. Was moving along, and that would be I don't know, over on Modern Day Debates, we have Fight the Flat Earth and Ozian. It's like, so that's just a combination of, wow. Okay, anyway, it'd be all right. With Ross Perry and Dustin Nemos, and I guess they're going to be talking about the moon landing. Now, I haven't watched any of it. I don't know if they're talking about this latest moon landing where they don't have any video of, and apparently the thing fell over after it landed, and it's now laying on its side or something. I don't know. It didn't work out well for him. Very little going on as far as the news cycle is concerned. Whereas you'd think something that monumental, the first time we put anything on the moon in over 50 years and nothing going on about it. I wanted to bounce this page off of you. All right. Let me see where that's at. Hold on a second. Let me do. A debater's glossary. Don't say space is fake. Say outer space, we are told as children, is what is fake. I agree. I agree with that. Let's take a look at it real quick. Let's take a look at this real quick. The entire wiki is dedicated to help you learn to share the truth. Use this guide to help prepare you for debating with Globers. Yeah, don't say space is fake, because space, really, is there space between my hand and my face right now? Absolutely. In fact, actually, by definition, space is anything between here and the firmament. That's space. So yeah, it's not. And it says down here, here's some do's and don'ts. Don't do space is fake. Say outer space, we are told as children, is what is fake. Don't say the sun goes around. Say the sun circles above, around implying underneath. Yeah, in circuits. It makes circuits is what I usually say. Attempt to re-express the other person's position so clearly, vividly, and fairly that they say, thanks, I wish I thought of putting it that way. List any points of agreement, especially if they are not matters of general or widespread agreement. Mention anything you have learned from your target. Only then are you permitted to say so much as a word of rebuttal or criticism. That's the type. Debate tactics, steelman. Okay, so this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. I'll tell you one that you might want to watch, because this is, and I don't know until I go over the whole thing, but I was over on Flatzoids today, and two of the big ones that I see them do all the time is they'll mention someone else expecting you to defend them. For instance, they'll say, well, you know, Bob Nodell did such and this and that and the other, or some other flat earther said this, that, and the other. It's like, no. I'm not that person. Okay. So I'm not here to defend their shit. Okay. That's, you take that up with them. And the other one is where they try to constantly reverse the burden of proof. Flat earth is an observation. We all have this observation of a level topographical plane. We feel no movement. Nothing indicates that we're moving. Therefore, my observations tell me that I live on a level topographical non-moving plane. Okay. And along comes these clowns and says, oh, no. Look into the sky. Look into the sky. You see those things that appear that they could be balls? Well, that means that you're one as well. See, that's logic. Good thing they didn't see a bird fly in front of their telescope, or they would have thought they were birds as well. So the burden of proof is on the positive claim. And that positive claim has specific sizes, specific speeds, specific motions. And those must be proven because they go against everything we observe. So this is why you constantly see them. Oh, yeah, I'll prove you're flat earth. What do you mean, prove my flat earth? That's what I see. What are you talking about? Well, you see, now you have to do the mental gymnastics. So we got to keep it on that level. Those are two big main tactics that I see that they use. Another one is where they want to take a word in part of what you've said. And so what exactly do you mean by if? What exactly do you mean by, dude, no. As soon as they start doing that, they're being intellectually dishonest completely. And we showed yesterday how they trick you with two-dimensional orthographic geometry when we in fact see in a three-dimensional perspective hyperbolic state. Things that move away from you get smaller. Things that get closer to you are bigger, of course, and it's all due to our perspective. And when you're trying to show that two-dimensionally, orthographically, you can't. You're not looking at the perspective of the observer, and so it's very misleading. They know it's dishonest, and they keep doing it. And I'm glad to see more and more people calling them out on that shit. Caleb's been doing it. Flat Soy's been doing it. I've been doing it. You got to call them out because those are the tricks. I'm the kid out there when the magician's up there and he's doing his illusions and shit. I'm the guy sitting there going, there's a mirror under the table. You know, I'm the guy that's going to be pointing out how the trick is actually done. And that's what I want you guys to do too. Because we got to get people out of this stupid mindset, man. People are really under a spell and it's really bad. It's really bad. Now, where is I at with this? I got it queued up to the beginning. We'll see what's going on with it. And if we like it, there was something else I was going to bring up to everybody tonight. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I'm sure it'll float by here again in the background. So 33. And I haven't even addressed my chat people. Hello, chat people. How are you tonight? It looks like I've got a bunch in here. Yeah, Flat Earth Gary Fox. Good. Nick is here with us. Sean Alkey's here. Jehovah's lovely daughter, Barbara. Chicago Cubby Bear. Let's see who else we got. Bogan Alsiard is with us as well. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see. Yeah, there's Cubby. Malcolm Sheen. Good to see you, my friend. Mr. Leahy, 1510, has joined the chat tonight. We got PayPal me with us. Don Mello is with us. Nick. Let's see. Don Phoenix Nemesis 138. All right. We had shortly for a short period of time a Sean Hawkins sock account. But it's like, wait a second, man. You can't stand me. You constantly want to berate me and ridicule me and shit. Why are you here in the first place? And secondly, why would I even want you in my chat? I mean, if that's all you ever bring to the table, Sean, why would I even want that? It's to be like, I don't get how you people think, man. But anyway, I'm ready for this because I'm up here in the space station. I'm wearing my NASA rocket scientist t-shirt. It's official too. It's official. See a little serpent tongue and everything on this thing. So, and it says rocket scientist. There it is. Eat that. All right. Hey, Tiffany, good to see you. Dreamy. There's Dreamy. Hope everything's doing good. I bet Keeper's about the size of a small Shetland pony by now. See, certified. All right. Anyway, let me bring this on up, and I got it queued up to where it's just getting ready to go. And let's see. This might not be too bad to have to put up with. I hope they'll open. Well, we'll just see. Ooh, check out us on your favorite podcast. Come on. Oh, I got it muted.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Modern Day Debate. Tonight, we're going to be debating, was the moon landing a hoax? And to get us started off, we have Ross. So, Ross, the floor is all yours.
Buenos dias. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Dustin, Fight the Flat Earth, and Ozian, who I regard very well. As anybody who's seen any of my other debates know, my favorite subject to discuss out of any other subject is history. I always say that I did my degree in political science, which is the history of lying. And it's such a good subject because you start to realize that everything you've pretty much ever been told is a lie. Well, that sounds cliche, right? But, I like to take the logical analysis or Occam's razor's way of looking at things when I'm examining almost everything, especially when it comes to history, So I'm a guy that was born here in America, and here in America, we're told a lot of things about history. As a matter of fact, we were told Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction not that long ago, and a lot of people believe that. And guess what happened after that? A lot of bad things, So, of course, you guys hear this all the time, right? If you're taking the negative, right, then you don't have the burden of proof. I mean, you get it, right? But I just want to be clear, right? Most of the conversations that people have around this subject still are around whether or not it's even still possible to go to the moon, right? I'm not, look, I don't necessarily have the burden of proof, but I know you guys know this already, and we can pull all this up if you want, right? But right now, right, in NASA, they're still discussing whether or not it's even possible for humans to leave lower Earth orbit, right? So before we even get into a conversation about have we been to the moon, right?
Hold on real quick. David Young says he's getting his tinfoil hat this week. You better be careful, David. They're going to think that there's a movement. I hope they do. I hope they do. It's about time we start psyoping those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Why not?
We're still at the conversation on whether or not it's possible, right? Like, this is a fact, right? You guys know this. I mean, if you say that that's not true, then you're a science denier, right? You guys are science deniers. You don't believe what I guess NASA's saying, because they're saying, yeah, after we maybe find a way to get through the Van Allen belt, maybe we'll be able to get humans out of lower Earth orbit. So if they haven't figured that out now, why haven't you guys realized that people lie, right? And history is just a set of lies agreed upon. And I know I've said this in every single debate I've been in, right? I'm like, the number one issue in every part of society is government intervention, right? So this is like a government. Everybody knows that governments lie. All right? If you're out there right now, nobody's going to say, "No, I believe my government 100%." All right. Well, how many times does somebody have to lie to you before you start assuming they're a liar? Right? Once, twice, 3 times, 50 times? I don't know. But for me, it's 1 time. All right. If I'm in a relationship with somebody and they lie to me to my face, I'm like, okay, well, I have to now verify everything this person says, right?
I'm right on board with what Ross is talking about here too, man. It's like, okay, so has your government ever lied to you? Yes. And he's political science major. So, as he said, that's basically the history of lying. All right. So yes, the government has lied to you before. Have they lied on multiple occasions? Yes. Have they ever lied about really big shit? Yes. But they're telling the truth about all this, even though there's all this shit pointing to that it is a lie. Yeah, the space thing's real, but the rest of what the government said, it's like, man, that's not what pick your battles means, man. It really isn't. That's whoo.
So I hope that you guys don't have any information that is going to prove that we went to the moon from the people that are on trial today, right? Because the people who are on trial, right, like if somebody committed a murder, when they get on the stand, they say, "I didn't do it." That's not evidence that they didn't do it. All right. So, like I said, this is my favorite. This is my favorite subject to talk about, because you really do have to prove what it is that you're saying when it comes to history. Because there's so many different stories. Matter of fact, there's countless footage of people back then saying that they never believed that we went to the moon. Anybody that watches that moon footage know we didn't go to the moon. Like I said, I don't. To me, this is almost. I'm surprised a little bit that you guys even showed up today, because this is a little silly. Like, why do we still think that we went to the moon back then when we can't even get out of lower Earth orbit now, right? I mean, there's literally testimony from the son of the military guards, right, at the moon set, right, on his deathbed. There's video testimony confirmed that yeah, like all of this was shot. I'm like, they had to admit this already. They literally said, "Oh well, some of the footage didn't make it, so we had to redo some of the footage." All right, so if they lie once, like, I'm supposed to assume that they didn't lie the rest of the time now, right? Okay, all right. So if you want me to believe something that happened in history, you're gonna have to produce some type of evidence. I don't know where my time is at, you know what I mean? But let me know when I'm at 6 minutes, please, or at least like 2.5. Okay, good. All right. So like I said, there is even video of Buzz Aldridge himself saying that the footage that we saw from the moon landing is not the real footage.
But everybody knows old Buzz Aldrin's a drunk. Who's going to listen to him? And that's exactly why they let him keep going. That's exactly why. He's a drunk. Who's going to listen to him? Come on, man. He lost his shit a long time ago. He's old, senile, and he's a drunk. Who's going to listen to that guy?
Yeah, they got damaged, whatever their excuses, right? All right, you lie one time. Now everything else you say after that, it needs to be verified. I don't care who you are, especially governments. We all know governments lie, right? So I said this in my last debate. Go look up the website that is tracking how many citizens, right, have been killed by their own governments versus the amount of people who have been killed in the meat grinder that we call war, right? Governments are the most evil thing on the planet, 100%. All right, so
what?
I mean, this is like. This is the last thing I want to say on this, right? And like I said, whatever evidence you guys have, I'm just going to pick it apart and for its validity, right? But this is what I want you guys to understand, all right? When we talk about slavery, right, it doesn't have anything to do with a color, right? Slavery is people forcing you to work and then taking your money after, all right? And we're really sophisticated now, so they have to come up with creative ways to steal your money, You understand? The most creative ways they have to steal the money. Number one is fake space travel. I want to say the first $1 billion budget they were able to justify taking from the taxpayer money, giving to the citizens was either the nuclear bombs, which are fake, right? And also the moon landing, right? Think about it. We talk about $30 billion, right? That they took from you guys. And you're saying that the evidence that they actually utilized that $30 billion is a movie. It's literally a movie. That's what it is. So, look, if you like, think about it. If I told you that somebody stole $30 billion from you, your ancestors, and your kids in the future, if you're not at least interested in finding out whether or not that's true, then you're kind of letting me know what team you work for. Because if somebody told me that somebody stole this much money from me, I would at least investigate it to want to know. I would want to verify, right, with empirical evidence that they actually did that what they said they're doing with the money. So there are whole organizations right now that are trying to audit NASA right now, right?
Yep. I caught that, PayPal me. I did. And listen, it's a hard habit to get out of. It's a hard habit to get out of. They've indoctrinated our minds so bad. And even after you run, you're like, wow, this fucking thing's not a ball, man. It's still hard to stop using the vernacular of global and planet. You know, everybody on the planet or globally, you know, it's just so much part of our regular vernacular. And this is why I've made a conscious effort that I don't use those. I don't use those words. Like atmosphere, you know, when you understand the etymology of that, and it's like vapor ball, gas ball. How does gas shape into a fucking ball or a sphere? How gas doesn't have a shape? So I just use the term atmos. You know, and I don't know what shape it is. It's not in, it takes the shape of its container. So whatever the shape of the container is, that's what shape it's in. And it doesn't matter. It's just more embedding. It's just more embedding.
I said, we don't even have to go into this because anyways, look, the main point that I want everybody to understand is that the government is stealing money from you, right? That's what taxes are. And you know how they justify it? Through creative ways, you know what I mean? Things that you know that people hope are going to happen in the future. Oh, we're going to do this. Look, if you're not interested in validating whether or not they're not stealing the money from you, then I don't know. I kind of understand what team you work for. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. Go ahead, Dustin.
Well, listen, man, I know there's a bigger agenda at foot than stealing money. Because they don't really need to steal money. You know, I mean, they can. There's a lot of, and this is a good way to funnel money into black projects and shit like that. I'll agree with that, but there's more to it. This is really over the top, elaborate money laundering. If that's all it was, it really is. This is over the top money laundering, and one scheme that people would become wise to rather quickly, especially for the amount of money that's involved with it. So it's not just that. There's more to it, and that's what I'm interested in. I'm always interested in what's the motive, what is going on. And I'm starting to come to some ideas as I'm going into, and I want to thank Sean Hawkins for always griping on about fucking maps, because that's got me on to finding how they've obfuscated shit, how they've hidden shit. And we'll go over that. Okay. And just think about that big area of the South Pacific. Okay. I want you to figure, how do they know where they're at in the northern latitudes? How did they ever map that out? It's based on the position of the stars, right? So what they use when they got south of the equator? Estimations.
All right, 6 minutes on the floor there, Dustin. It's all yours.
Thank you. Well said. I probably won't need a full six.
Ooh, we have
Here.
Well,
I hear.
speakers on.
Yeah, I hear something.
Does anybody have YouTube running or in
Negative
monitors? Okay, must have been something going on over there with Ross.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We're
6
good.
minutes on the floor for you there, Dustin.
Okay, we're good. So I may not need the full six, but here we go. I am, as many of you know, Dustin Nemos, the reporter, journalist, author, and also known as the archivist more recently. You may choose to place the burden of proof on our shoulders tonight and say, why do you doubt the official science of world governments? I would then reply, why do you believe it? This belief is fairly recent and completely hinges on unproven theories such as space. It's hard to believe the moon landing was real, What NASA is claiming is that they have gone 1,000 times further than they can go today with 50-year-old technology on the first attempt with 1/1,000,000th the computing power of what is in your modern cell phone. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to mislead the public about astronauts being on the ISS, including air bubbles, wires, harnesses, green screens, virtual reality, strings, gravity, grabbing objects that are not even there, etc. Space is a satanic secret society deception. The elite are ruled by a cult that worships the demigod Nephilim, or Anunnaki, lineage of the fallen angels of Genesis 6. They have created entire branches of false science around the Copernican revolution, now thoroughly debunked theory that the world moves around the sun, and which is why we're really here, in order to convince us that the world is a globular rock cannonball, corkscrewing amidst infinite void, covered in water, with infinite other globular rocks and dust shotgunning behind. A rock that is billions of years old, merry-go-rounding around a burning giant fart that itself shoots through space at incredible speeds without flinging us off through velocity or momentum,
Giant
while
fart.
maintaining a gravity without any form of barrier. This is impossible. While maintaining absolute clockwork precision, also, we can find lucky moments of absolute stillness without so much as a breeze. In truth, the demonstrably biblical Earth is young, stationary, geocentric, flat, hollow, and domed, just like the Bible said. And they are spending vast quantities of your tax dollars to make damn, unintended, sure you don't find out. NASA are liars, and the deep state science backing their theories are as much based on the scientific method as cigarettes for pregnant women and other forms of fake science that we're more familiar with that I can't talk about on YouTube. May iron sharpen iron, and may the best arguments win. All glory to Yahweh. Jesus is king. As for me, I stand witness as a former devout, lifelong, anti-God atheist, devout atheist, who never lost a single debate with any religious person in my life, that as someone who tested biblical Earth, I converted to scientific fundamentalist Jesus freak instantly upon testing of various religious holy texts, including the Hebrew Bible, and only the Hebrew Bible has 100% accurate synchronized prophecies in fine detail by the hundreds or thousands of years apart every single time. I stand corrected and humbled eternally, having been a know-it-all before, and in my time, I have woken up tens of thousands of others to Christ, to Yahweh, and to biblical Earth, using the scientific method.
Interject there. We still got 3 minutes on the clock. If we could just pull it back to the moon landing, just because.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something. I mean, it's like, all right, let's get off the pulpit here and get back to the topic. You're getting a little, that's all well and good, Dustin, but this isn't a tent revival, man.
We've gotten into a separate subject, which we're happy to debate here on.
Look how happy.
But if we could focus on the.
Look how happy Craig is that he's not allowed to talk about it, though. Did you see that? He's a little grinning face and shit, little evil demonic fucker. Why is it with the hair? Look like somebody took their ass cheeks and spread them open on top of his head and then pinched him shut as they pulled up or something. I don't know. What the fuck do you want your hair looking like that for, man?
The moon landing specifically for the last 3 minutes of your time. So much for that. That'd be great.
Guy.
Okay. So that was basically the end of my testimony anyway. I had about a sentence there left, just that I've investigated all this and it checks out. There's a number of issues with the moon landing, including rover tracks that are not lining up correctly, space itself being fake, the entire cosmology, of course. Plasma translucent moon is also an issue. You can't land on the moon because it is not a physical object. It is not rock. They are faking curves with fisheye lenses. They're faking moon rocks that were actually found out to be petrified wood. They never have any stars. Who's holding the camera for the lander anyway as it pans down and shakes and trembles from the moon's surface before they've landed? There's missing majestic Earth. According to the astronauts, the moon is 4 times larger in the moon's night. The Earth is 4 times larger in the moon's night sky than the moon is in the Earth's night sky. Yet you never see that on any of their starless nights on the moon landing photos. There's impossible temperatures. They would have to go through 35,000 degrees of Fahrenheit temperature in order to get through the Van Allen radiation belt with what is essentially a tinfoil aluminum cardboard box that is missing bolts that you can see in the original photos. There's wind on the moon with the flag, and there's no jet imprint from the landing. There's a number of other issues we can go into. NASA's other lies in baking space in a number of ways, like ISS and green screens and bubbles and harnesses and such. But I like to focus on the agenda because it really is ultimately to hide God. It goes back to Rome and about 500 years ago, a cardinal named Wolsey and a strategy called learning against learning. That's where they invented fake science and started to pioneer it. I'm done.
The Jesuits. We did a show on that. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch that. We went over a documentary called Heliosorcery that covers the connection to this push of this helio nonsensical bullshit and the Reformation. It really quite enlightening. Check it out. We broke it down. I also included a link to the full documentary without me interrupting it. So yeah, go check that one out.
All right. Well, you still have 30 seconds there. So thank you so much for the introductory statement there. I did want to make sure you didn't run out of time before you got full circle there. So sorry for injecting. So thank you, Ross and Dustin, both of you for your introductions. I'm going to hand it over to FTFE for your up to 6-minute introductory statement. Floor is all yours.
Well, Ozian's going to go first on our side. So Ozian can take it away on our side.
Sorry,
first.
I knew you had a presentation. So go ahead there, Ozian. Floor is all yours. There you go. You're up and running. Can't hear you yet though.
You're muted.
There you go. You hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Sorry about that. Thank you for hosting the show today, Modern Day Debate. Thank you, Craig, for being my teammate. Thank you, Dustin and Ross, for having this debate with us. Please follow me at Matters Now. I'm going to have an after show after this, so come check it out. And here's Kennedy.
Just so y'all know, Flatzoid was supposed to be on this debate, but he had some shit come up. He couldn't do it. So this is why they had to run it with the other guy here. I forget which guy he was going to take the place of, but or that took his place, but I think it might have been Dustin. Might have been. Or anyway, he was supposed to be on this.
Go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
So I do make an historical claim, which doesn't require empirical evidence. I don't know why somebody said that earlier. Belief in a historical event is justified when primary sources and independent secondary sources agree, and even hostile sources affirm it. If only unsubstantiated conspiracy theories disagree, it's rational to accept the moon landing.
You mean perceived hostile forces? Okay. Now, what Ozian's not really aware of is the fact that you have been under a one world government with the illusion of international sovereignty for quite a long time. Once you wake up to that fact, you'll understand things. But you got to get off this idea of the Chinese and the fucking Russians and they hate us and we hate them. Because let's not forget, they all agreed to all the bullshit for the last 4 years. The Antarctic Treaty, restrictions on the North, altitude limitations. They'll all observe that, even though we hate each other. That's what they're going to go ahead and go with. So that idea, of course, they're all going to be in on it. Their entire control system depends on you believing this fucking nonsense.
Landings as fact, as 71% of Americans do. The primary sources we will cover include NASA mission reports and documents, astronaut testimonies, and photographic and video evidence. Documents pertaining to the Apollo 11 missions are available at NASA. This archive includes pre-flight documents as seen here, stowage lists, in-flight documents, and post-flight documents. Primary sources include astronaut testimonials and video footage of them on the moon speaking with President Nixon and mission control.
1201, Roger, 1201 alarm. Same type, we're go, flight. Okay, we're go. We're go, same type, we're go. Flight Feta right on, real good. 2,000 feet, 2,000 feet.
And here, the full Nixon video can be found on YouTube.
All the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride in what you have done.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here.
Notice it.
Well, see there, notice that by making those astronauts wait several seconds before they responded, it seemed as though there was a time delay. So you can't fake that. You could not fake that. Isn't that right, Dave? Yes, that's absolutely right, Dave. See, fuck these people.
The delay. Watch Apollo 11 astronauts with the 83-minute post-flight press conference on YouTube if you want.
Now, this occurred in a vicinity close to the landing site.
These slides show extensive video and photo proof of Apollo 11's lunar landing, far more than for Washington's Delaware crossing on Christmas Day of 1776, which has absolutely no video or photo evidence, underscoring the strong evidence validating the moon landing.
So I contest this as well, because yeah, we're painted this story. Everybody knows this fucking image, right? Did it really happen? Fuck if I know. I went to Yorktown Battlefield, right? Everything there is a recreation of this and a recreation of that. How the fuck do I even know an actual battle really took place there? I don't. It's just some shit in a storybook, and here's a place to match it. Boom. That's it. So no, I think history is a bunch of bullshit. Every last bit of it. All the crap you're told about World War II is nonsense as well.
It would be preposterous to doubt such historical claims just because we don't have photographs or videos. But within the context of the Apollo missions, we have all of the above. Our checklist confirms many primary sources supporting the moon landing, justifying belief in its truth using just primary historical sources alone. But I am not going to stop there. In July...
Real quick, you're right. It's sort of like this, man. With mafia guys, made men, right? They can whack whoever the fuck they want. But somebody tries to whack them, it's all over, man. Even rival gangs will kill you for killing a made man in another gang. It's just how it is.
By 1969, Larry Basinger independently detected Apollo 11's radio signals from the moon. This, along with scientific insights gained from lunar missions, deepened our understanding of planetary science and airless surfaces. Basinger's work alongside academic research based on lunar data serves as independent confirmation of the moon landing, offering support beyond NASA's account. His efforts provide a unique observational confirmation of the historical event. 2 of my 3 points are confirmed. I could have included worldwide newspapers that also backed the moon landing, but I'm limited to 6 minutes for my opening presentation. What about hostile sources? What are they? The USSR, which first sent a man to space, was first for many things when it came to the space race. But the US wanted to be first to land on the moon. And the US beat them. USSR journalist Yurislav stated, but later, when they did overtake us, we had to maintain secrecy so that no one knew that we had been overtaken. This statement from a Soviet journalist is a hostile secondary source confirming the USSR lost the space race and confirms the US moon landing. This is the most damning piece of evidence against the deniers of the moon landing. I can't.
And the Russians haven't wasted a fucking dime on trying to get there all this time. Gee, I wonder why.
Can't believe that 12% of Americans still deny this historical fact, but our Cold War enemies were convinced that we went to the moon, and there has never been a satisfactory explanation for why the USSR confirmed that we went to the moon. All 3 criteria on my list have been met. We can confidently believe that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon on July 20th, 1969. Any post hoc conspiracy theories lack rational foundation and have been effectively challenged in my previous discussions on this channel. I'm open to hearing any claims about physical impossibility. I can easily refute those. And to make, since we brought in.
Okay, here's one. Entropy. How'd they get through the container I was in? Entropy, bro. There's your physical impossibility. Boom. Discussion over.
In religion, for some reason, Christianity's false, the Bible's false because naturalism is true. All examples of causation are physical. We have no examples of non-physical causation. So I am convinced that God doesn't exist. So your Bible's false. So I don't really care about any of your biblical claims in this debate. And I will cede the rest of my time to Craig.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that.
Weak sauce, Franz. Come on, man. That was salad oil.
We'll end the screen share there. And just remind everybody while we get that taken down that we are going to do a Q&A at the end of our discussion here. So I'll just stop that there. So we're going to kick it over to FTFE. So with that, you still have, 7.5 minutes on your side to go. So you can eat them up how you'd like.
Okay, well, probably don't need the whole 7.5 minutes really, because there's some very simple reasons why it's quite clear we did go to the moon. Now, even though in this conversation, we do not have the burden of proof, because it's very simple in logic. The claim that goes against the status quo has the burden. And we, Ozin and I here, we are representing the status quo, the understanding that we did go to the moon, which is the generally accepted position. So, but that's irrelevant because I am going to give evidence. And I'm going to talk about two things specifically. One thing Ozin briefly touched on, which is the third-party verification of the moon landing from sources outside of NASA, and the fact that it would have been harder to fake it than go.
What? What? It would have been harder to fake it than to just go. Oh, I cannot wait to hear why this would be. Holy shit. So how much did the Apollo mission cost? And how much did it cost to film Star Wars almost 20 years later? Was it close? Did it look real? Fuck yeah, it did, boy. Huh. I don't know, man. Yeah, that'd be impossible.
So we're talking about third-party verification. Sources outside of NASA. Obviously, the best one to talk about is what Ozyan touched on, and that's the Soviet Union's tracking. The Soviet Union had its own space tracking capabilities and was in direct competition with the United States during the Cold War and the space race. Their tracking of the Apollo missions and acknowledgement of the US's achievement serve as a form of third-party verification. And references to Soviet tracking and acknowledgement can often be found in Cold War history books and space race documentaries. What you guys need to understand is that NASA were losing the space race. The only thing that they did first was get to the moon. Russia were the first people to put stuff in orbit. Russia were the first people to put humans and animals in orbit. NASA needed to do something, so they went to the moon, and the Soviets confirmed that happened. But it's not just the Soviets. There's so many other ways, the third-party verification that was shown. Parkes Observatory.
You're going to take the word of the Soviets? You know, I find that highly offensive coming from a Cold War veteran. Okay? We know how sneaky and evil those Russians are. You know, did you know? I want to tell you, this is something, man. Did you know that they actually brainwash their kids with their schools? No shit. And their news, they don't really get news. They only get government approved propaganda through their news. So they don't ever really know what is going on, really. Just always fed the standard line of how great the Soviet Union is and shit. You know, this was the shit that they ran on us. This is the shit that they ran on us, man. This is how evil the Soviet, and now here I am. I'm going, you know, that's exactly what the fuck we do. Exactly. Holy sheep shit, man.
The Parkes Radio Telescope in Australia played a significant role in receiving live television broadcasts of the Apollo 11 moonwalk. The involvement of the Parkes Observatory is well documented in various scientific publications and historical accounts of the Apollo 11 missions. So, the fact that the signal was received in Australia and had to then be, fed back to America because of the positions of where it was. That's someone completely outside of NASA. It's the Australians, nothing to do with NASA. They verify that it happens. I probably get the pronunciation of this wrong. The Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, which was the largest single dish radio telescope until its collapse in 2020, also tracked the Apollo missions. Though primarily a scientific research facility, its capabilities were suitable for tracking.
So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that people whose lives and careers depend on this nonsense set up a thing and actually tracked it, and they told you, said, see, this machine went bing. That means that we're tracking this, Craig. That means that we're tracking that bing right there on that machine. And, we would only tell you exactly the truth because we wouldn't want to have to find another career path whatsoever. So, yeah, that machine that we just told you that we're tracking that with, you can go to the bank with that. Holy fucking God.
Space missions. So that's another, nothing to do with the US, nothing to do with NASA. Puerto Rico, they tracked it with their own technology. The Jordan Bank Observatory, located in the UK, tracked the Apollo missions, including the famous Apollo 11 mission. The observatory's involvement provides additional third-party verification from a reputable scientific institution, and all this data is contained within history books and museums in the UK. And apart from that, there was amateur radio operators, enthusiasts around the world listened to and recorded the transmissions between Apollo and mission control, and the recordings themselves served as independent evidence of the missions. And there was thousands of amateur radio operators that literally tracked these signals from Apollo going to the moon. International observatories and space tracking stations, other countries and their observatories, including those in Spain, Australia, United States, they all contributed to tracking and receiving data from the Apollo missions. The global network of tracking stations under the Deep Space Network and other international partners provide robust third-party verification. So it's not just NASA that would have had to fake this. It's basically the entire world, which, the third-party verification is more than enough to show that it happened, and it's not just NASA that say it happened. But apart from that, I want to quickly talk about the actual recordings, okay? Now,
there you go.
When it was broadcast from the moon, they had to do it in a particular way. They use a specifically designed slow scan camera for the live broadcast that operated at 10 frames per second, which wasn't what was standard in the time. The standard kind of technology that was around in the time was like 24 frames per second. That was what we broadcast on TV. Now, the fact that it was broadcast at a different rate to what was standard on TV shows one thing, but the other thing is the claims that it being in slow motion because they're on the moon and the movements and stuff, that would have required something. That would have required filming what they did at twice the speed or more, and then slowing it down and playing it back. Now,
that's what they did. Why would that be hard? Your reification of that they couldn't do that on the moon, or they didn't have the that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
This would have been impractical for many reasons. The main reason being the physical limitation of the amount of storage media that existed at the time and the prohibitive expense that would have required. There was not enough physical storage media to store the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of video from the Apollo missions and have them played back at half the speed, meaning more than twice the storage media required. That technology, that amount of storage media simply did not exist. So there's that.
He's acting like there's one continuous long stream of them, like whole reels of that. No, it's little clips, little short sections, which is not impossible to store, Craig.
And I can hear you laughing, Ross. You could.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted still. My bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
don't laugh at me.
The technical limitations of the time in regards to broadcast technology and recording technology would have made the actual faking of the moon missions practically impossible at the time. More expensive and more technology than actually existed. And I think those two things alone require a lot of debunking from the other side to show that we did not go there. We can get into a bunch of the things that they brought up in the back and forth discussion, but I'm going to leave it there for my intro. Just to clarify, the technology of recording made it practically impossible to fake the moon landings in the way that it said that they did. And the third-party verification of the moon landing is all we need to show that it actually happened.
That's all you need.
All right. Well, thank you so much, FTFE, for your introductory statement. If it's your first time hanging out in the live chat, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. We're Modern Day Debate. We're a neutral platform hosting debates on science, politics, religion, and tonight, was the moon landing a hoax? So we're going to hand it back over to the other side to answer to some of the things that they just heard in the introductory statements from the other side and get into an open discussion. So once again, Q&A at the end of the show, everybody. So get your super chats in, and those will be read with priority. Over to you, Ross and Dustin.
For question number 1, how did they defy entropy? Oh, so there's no more questions. This is over now. How did they get through the containment, bro?
If you don't mind, Dustin, I'm going to go and let you, because you're a much better speaker than I am. So let me, get my. I'm going to try to talk slow, but I just want to say it's amazing that you guys believe all that stuff happened, right? That the United States had not done anything that Russia had done, but then when they tried to go to the moon, they did it on the first time, right? I think about what we're saying, right? The Earth.
We didn't do it the first time.
What are you talking about? This is us. I think we might need to go to 1 minute responses, because I want to just get my thought out and you can respond after. All right. When they attempted to go to the moon, right?
We'll try to keep it open if we can, but carry on.
Okay, look, when they attempted to go to the moon, right? They weren't even able to get people in space or satellites in space, but then they tried to go to the moon and they did it, right? I don't like the Earth is what's the circumference? I don't know, 12,000 miles, something like, I don't know, whatever the circumference of the Earth is, right? However long it would take an airplane to go around that, right? Imagine 10 times that. They're saying that they went 10 times that distance across the vast space, right? Something that they had absolutely no prior engagement or knowledge. And you guys think you don't believe in God?
That's
no. Let me finish my question. My question is, you guys really think you don't believe in God when you're saying, like, yeah, we went.
Let's keep God out of the conversation, please. That's irrelevant.
Oh, no. You're believing in God, because what you're saying right.
Let's start going. Yay! As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, watch that motherfucker start freaking out, man. Be gone, demon.
Now sounds
no. Again, I don't want to discuss God. Can we please keep that out of the conversation and focus on
you're
the moon
discussing
landing?
God, because what you're saying right now is an act of God for you to travel 250,000 miles.
Right,
when the Earth is not even like, that's an act of God. What in the hell are you talking about?
Let's clarify. Let's clarify.
And he won't let us talk.
1 second.
Yeah, let's clarify.
Let's
something.
go into those 1 minute.
This conversation is not about. This conversation is not about God. This is about the moon landing. I will not be discussing God because God is irrelevant to this conversation. You want to believe in God, that's absolutely fine. But this conversation is, well, you're the one that's bringing up God. So let's.
No. Dustin brought it up.
Ross.
He's made more of an issue over the even saying something like that it was an act of God. He really turning this into an issue, and the fact that he would have such a fucking problem, man, is so telling. It is so telling, man. It really is. These guys really lose their fucking shit when you start talking about God. They can't handle it.
Hold on, you were the one that brought up God, so let's, for this conversation, keep God out of it. Me and Ozian don't care about God, and let's just discuss the moon landing, okay? You are wrong. They didn't just go to the moon. That's why there were several Apollo missions before the ones that actually went to the moon, where they were testing the technology in orbit.
Did they have a man in space before they went to the moon?
Yes.
So
yes,
they put a man in space first, and then they went to the moon.
Yes, that's what the Apollo missions were for.
When did they put a man in space?
Apollo superseded the Gemini missions, okay? Gemini missions, they sent these people up into low Earth orbit. John Glenn, a couple other dudes, they sat side by side inside of a capsule, Gemini, and then they went to the Apollo aspect of it. Now, they sent like they supposedly did with this Artemis one, to go up and orbit to see if it was capable and shit. So I could see they made a plausible story of an evolution to this moon landing. Okay. But so yeah, they need to know a little bit more about that. It's hard, okay, especially when you're dealing with some kind of a fucking fairy tale. But I grew up through this, so I know what these. I was into it, man. I was into it. I had a NASA snowsuit. Used to go out in the snow and go all slow motion like I was on the moon and shit. And you know, so I knew all about these things. And my mom told me about actually seeing John Glenn. They had a parade in Chicago when she was at nursing school, and he came through Chicago, and they had a parade, and she got to see him. So that was a big deal for her. And so, yeah, there was an evolution from Sputnik through Gemini. Of course, Sputnik was Russian. We responded with a thing I think called Telstar that they put up. So it was this supposed space race. All right. And there was a progression. It wasn't just like, okay, we've never done this before. But the whole thing is they had never done a landing before, only through simulation. And the fact that they had done all of these other projects up to 11 and then have a manned mission and not a single fuck up on any of them. Okay. That's the point. That's the point it needs to drive home. But yeah, I got to say that Ross is mistaken that being the very first time. So,
Ross, I'm answering your question.
Yeah, let's.
in fact, a lot of times people like to point to Nixon's phone call to the moon, and there's a picture of the Earthrise on the wall from the moon. That was taken from one of those orbital missions. Supposedly, this is what they say, is that was a photograph from one of the orbital missions that preceded Apollo 11.
Shut up and let me talk.
Let's just give you another
Good point,
15
Ross.
seconds,
Well done.
and then we'll
So,
let
yeah.
Ocean in, and we got to hand it to Dustin.
So
That's news to me. I haven't seen proof of any of this.
One
Well,
second,
maybe
Ross.
you
We
should
gotta let him
actually
respond.
research the claim.
I did
Ross, here's
research. There's no proof in there.
Ross, maybe you should research the claim, and you would find out that they.
I'll let
put men
Dustin
in
go. I'll
space.
let Dustin go.
All right. So what we're gonna do, because Ozian's
Wait,
been holding his
he
thought.
asked a question.
I was gonna say you've been holding your thought since the beginning. So we're gonna let FE finish up his thought there, and then hand it over to Ozian, then Dustin. Okay, in that order, just to get everybody's
Thank
thoughts
you.
out. So go ahead, FT.
So, yeah. So they did go to space before they went to the moon. That's the Apollo 1 didn't go to the moon. There was a whole bunch of things before they went to the moon. So it's quite clear straight away that you have not researched this. Otherwise, you would know the basic things like that are involved in this discussion. So yeah, basically, I'm not really sure how to go forward with this discussion because it's quite clear that you have not researched any of your claims.
This is a
Ozian,
historical
over to you.
conversation. It's a historical conversation. That's all I'm saying. You have to prove
Ozian,
something if it's
Ozian,
like- have it in your-
Ozian, over to Ozian.
Yeah, we're gonna give
Thank
Ozian
you.
the next part here. Go ahead, Ozian.
So it began with the Mercury missions.
Yep.
There were several of those. I believe there were 8 Mercury missions. There were 4 more Gemini missions. We went to space. Russia went to space. Americans went to space. Russia beat us to space.
I hear
We-
you, but
we
is there
beat
proof of
Russia
any
to
of
One
this?
the
second, Ross.
moon.
We're
I
letting
hear
Dustin
you.
respond.
I know that, but
We're gonna let
It's
Dustin respond. to this one.
historical.
So-
It's historical proof. Evidential claims. You made a claim. Actually, I have some questions for you, but I'll let Dustin say because he made a stupid claim about testimonial evidence that should be dismissed right away. But I'll let Dustin because he wants to talk, and then I think we should be allowed to ask questions.
Go ahead there, Dustin.
Okay, can I get 2 minutes? I think just that's
all
all
right.
I really need. I think.
If you need to
Should
move
be
into
enough.
the minute back and forth, that's what we may have to do just to mitigate the
I just-
interruptions.
I just
But-
have some things to get out before we get into crosstalk because I wanted to respond to some of the things that they had said.
All right, for the interest of being fair, I'll give you up to a minute because that's kind of what I've been
Sure.
trying to levy
I'll talk.
here.
Fine, I'll talk fast. First, the slideshow was a total appeal to authority. Fake news does the same thing today with its preferred platforms. Essentially, if you ignore all evidences except official sources, you essentially discount all of truth in a number of areas. to compare the moon landing's official nonsense based on circular reasoning of fake news reinforcing fake news is not evidence. He showed us nothing but audios and texts. If you consider it, there was zero evidence there. Also, the astronauts from every government are lying and in tune with a number of things like fake space. Causation is, ironically, absolute evidence for God due to the law of cause and effect, by the way. Also, in response to fight the flat Earth, as to the comments from Fight the Flat Earth, also an appeal to authority, because the other governments say NASA is correct, NASA must be correct. Why do they all have the same symbolism? Roscom and NASA share the same serpent's tongue speaking through a forked disc on a flat surface. So they all push the same lies. NASA and Roscosmos and science all has zero credibility. I've got more, but
yeah, that would be time. So yeah, 1 minute on the floor. Other side.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ozzy and I.
So yeah, just quickly respond to a few things that he said there. No, there's no appeal to authority. Appeal to authority is doing something like saying, "Oh, the king said that gravity's real, therefore it's real." No, appeal to authority doesn't mean. If you go to actual authoritative sources about a thing, that
appealing to authoritative sources. Craig, is that better for you? Felicia, Christ almighty, bro. Holy shit. You didn't mean you were going to the king or the boss. That wouldn't even work with me. I don't have a king or a boss. So, wow. Just
know that thing. That's not an appeal to authority. It's an appeal to authority when it's someone that doesn't know that thing, but they're an authority. So, yeah, I don't know why you brought up there. Also, your thing about God is just a begging the question fallacy. It's as simple as that. Creation means that there must be a God, therefore God. That's literally begging the question fallacy. So let's remove God completely from the conversation. It's absolute and utter nonsense. And the other thing is that the third-party verification
I
that
get a response too.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Well, we'll hand it back to their side and then bounce back to you, Ozian.
He attacked me. I need to respond to his attack towards me.
All right, last 10 seconds there. Fight the flat Earth.
Yeah. So the only other thing is that a lot of the evidence that I talked about, the third-party verification, came from independent sources that are part of zero government or any agency at all. Ozian, please, over to you.
All right, 1 minute on the floor.
He's exactly right with. He's exactly right with the appeal authority fallacy. It's an informal fallacy anyway, so it doesn't even mean it's false, because even if it's a false authority, his claim could still be true. And I didn't make such a claim. I made an historical argument. Somebody here claims they approve of historical arguments. We also need to be able to ask questions here too. So this is going to be a grill on us. No, I made an argument. I laid out the criteria for accepting a historical claim as being true. You didn't refute any of the primary or secondary sources. You're just hand waving it, claiming that, well, government's lying, without proving that the governments are lying about these claims.
So here's the problem with using historical events. History is bullshit. All right. So there again, another thing that has been falsified, and depending on where you are and who wrote the history is going to give you a different story. We're in the year 2024, as we're told. Not really, but that's what we're at. And in 1963, on November 22nd, the President of the United States may or may not have been assassinated. It appeared as though he was, right? The official story through the history books is that a lone gunman named Lee Harvey Oswald shot him, making an incredible shot from a warehouse. Now, most people know that that's not true. Most people know that that did not occur that way, but that's still the official story. Okay? So when you start going to things, like I said, with, Washington crossing the Delaware, well, he might have. He might not have. I've been to some of these historical places and they're all like, oh, this is a recreation of this and here's a recreation of that. Well, where's the actual shit? How do I know any of this is real? Right? So, boo on that.
All right. We'll give each of you 1 minute. You can go first.
You want to go first? Go ahead.
You.
I would be very much happy to go.
Exactly, Peter. Exactly. Like getting the money launderers to explain the legality of the crime. Yeah, I'm not lying. If you don't believe me, just ask me, right?
into like the credibility of science, NASA, or governments on any of these issues, like telling women to smoke cigarettes for their when they're pregnant, etc.
Or you could give evidence.
I mean, there's a
Oh,
number of
it's his turn.
issues.
It's his turn. It's his minute.
They're
Let
pretty
him
much
finish.
always
Hold on,
wrong
Ross.
on every issue around the clock.
This-
So the
no,
credibility
this
is,
is
of
not-
course. No,
Let
I
him
would like to
finish.
finish.
You can respond on your minute.
We need to
Let-
be
no
able
one
to
said
ask
anything.
They don't
questions.
want me to
It's
talk.
his
because
minute.
They're trying to
It's
talk
No,
me
his
down.
time.
we should be able to
Dude,
cross-examine them too.
Ryan,
Not while I'm talking.
That's fine. On your minute, though. On your minute, ask us questions.
Oh, bullshit. You attacked my argument. I responded.
He
I get
will.
no
He
chance.
will. Just let him
Listen,
say what he
ask
says.
questions.
Let him say what he says.
Unfortunately,
Okay, go
Ozian,
ahead.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
You
don't
give
feel
the
like
floor to
he's
Dustin. Dustin can have the floor, but then we're just here to look pretty. Thank you very much.
well,
You guys
can
have done way more talking than I have. Have we not been paying attention to the emerging world government flexing its power lately? The UN was quoted as nation's name.
You're lagging out.
Hey,
Here
like
they come.
Government's
Here they
blocking
come.
you.
Here they come. Yep.
Oh, he
Oh,
is
that's
lagging.
You're lagging hard, Dustin. You're lagging hard.
how about now? How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You're good now. Go
video's
ahead.
off there.
I'm gonna kill video for a second.
Are you
Have
up,
we
bro?
not been paying attention to the power of emerging world governments lately flexing? The UN was quoted as saying, "We own the science," which is why all the missions are named after false pagan gods like Apollo and Mercury, because the deep state too has a religion.
10 seconds.
The entire world did fake it. The governments are in collusion, and I can prove they are all ran by the same tribe in the news for bombing children en masse who hate God and refuse to speak his real name. Clearly, they showed no evidence. We went, by the way, the burden of proof is not yet met. You have shown no evidence that this ever happened,
time.
and you know that we would tear it
Don't
apart.
have burden of proof.
That is
Okay,
Ross's
don't.
turn. Sorry.
I
guys.
was gonna say I don't mind deferring to Ozian so he can respond to that and then get into a question. But if you want, we can do back and forth like 1 minute, like per side. You know what I mean? So maybe me and then Ozian and
You're
then
getting 1
and then
minute right
Dustin.
now,
Then
so.
Cycle.
He did, man. It's like that's why I say, man, if I'd see if I could get him to freak out by bringing up God or something like that, and then as soon as I noticed him start freaking out, you got to weigh in and just start going with the Psalms, man. Yea, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Man, that will make them fucking freak. They can't handle it. They cannot handle it.
Okay, well, I just wanted to, because I don't want us to be interrupted. He's saying some good stuff. I just want look. I like to sound dumb sometimes and make things on the level for everybody else. Because listen, this is a historical conversation. If nobody had ever known anything, and somebody said, "Hey, you see that planet up there? We went over there," we would say, "All right, you have to show us some proof." And we're starting from zero. And if your proof is, it would be easier to just go than fake it.
Yeah, that was a dumb argument. Flatzoid's perspective. Good to see you, my friend. He says, if God triggers you, then you have spiritual issues. Absolutely. 100%. Great show today, by the way. If you haven't been over to Flatzoid or not familiar with his channel, definitely go over and give it a look. See, he runs a pretty good show here in the States. It's usually around between 2 and 4 o'clock my time, Eastern time. He had a good panel. I jumped up on there today and we were talking about some stuff on there that regarding perspective, and it was a pretty good discussion. So go over there and check it out. If Barbara or Flatzoid, I think you have a wrench too, so don't you? Let me see. Pretty sure if you don't, you get one. No, what the fuck? There we go. Use super moderator powers. That's how we roll here, babe. Yeah, I mean, we click pretty good, man. That's why I think you and I could go up against a couple of these clowns on one of these shows, man, and tear it up, bro. I really do, man, because it's so crazy. Whatever I'm planning on coming up with to do something, a show on or something or whatever, it's like, or something I've just been talking about, it seems like you'll come on and go, boop. And I'm like, no shit, man. I was just talking about this. I'll be sitting here with a friend and I'm like, we were just talking about this shit, man. Exactly. Power level 90,000. Right on, brother. Right on. I love it.
Are you even using your brain? Are you a critical thinker at all? Or are you lying? It's one of the two. Because if I say, hey, we gave them $30 billion, what movie cost $30 billion? Hell no, it wouldn't be easier to make a damn movie than it would be to go to the moon 250,000 miles. Nobody has traveled 250,000 miles around the earth in one shot. You're saying they did it to the moon. That defies all logic. So you want us to
Can you
believe that they
provide
defy the
evidence?
laws of physics? Is my minute over? Okay, you
I know
want
you're
us
kind
to
of
believe,
just soapboxing, to be honest.
yeah,
but-
no, I'm saying facts. You want us to believe that they defied the laws
You
of
haven't said a
physics?
single fact so
You
far.
want us
There's
to-
no laws of
Hey,
physics.
entropy. God dang it. Somebody bring that up, man. How did they get out?
It's
Listen,
an
you have no
Right.
proof.
You
And
got
listen,
last 10 seconds.
thank you. You see how they're interrupting? That's how you know when they're getting mad, right? All right. The reality is that we thought Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. We all believed it. Just
Talk
because
about the
you hear
moon landing.
something and you see some videos that don't mean it's true, guys. All right, we need empirical evidence. They got $30 billion for that. Go ahead, Craig.
All right, that's time.
Yeah,
there.
so you would need to give evidence that that technology to be able to do the faking existed, which I've never seen anything. So let's be clear that that technology doesn't exist, and you need to provide evidence that the technology to fake it in the way that it was existed. It did.
Easy peasy Japanesey. What was the budget for the movie Gravity? What was the budget for the television show Star Trek The Next Generation? What was the budget for the television show Space 1999? Here's an even more interesting. On the popular television sitcom The Big Bang Theory, when the character Howard went up to the International Space Station, how much was the budget for those episodes? You know, the ones where he actually appeared with real astronauts and made pens float around in space and talked to his friends and family back home on the little television screen and whatnot. Now, what differentiated that from what NASA gives you? Oh, that's right. There was a laugh track. There was a laugh track, and it was part of a TV show that you saw. But take away the laugh track, put a little NASA watermark down in the corner of the screen. Bingo, gringo. There you go, man. It's real. So don't give me that shit that it would be cheaper to go there than it would be to fake it. No, not a bit, babe.
Didn't. You can't provide evidence of it. So yeah, again, God is completely irrelevant.
I
to this
can.
conversation. No,
I can.
You can't, because the technology did not exist.
No, I can show that they faked it.
You can show the technology that to be able to fake it in that way existed. Can you?
Yeah, things like where they filmed it on Earth match exactly with where they filmed it on places like
No.
Mars and the moon,
I'm
etc.
not
Yeah.
asking for conspiracy claims. I'm asking you to show me the technology to do the slow motion at that time when they broadcast it at 10 frames per second and normal TV was 24 frames per second.
Bullshit, because it was real popular on nature shows in color. Okay, on nature shows to show slow motion of like a cheetah running. Okay, and this thing can get up to a speeds of like 60, or is it a jaguar? One of them cats, one of the big cats that gets up to 60 miles an hour, right? And they filming it in slow motion. The technology didn't exist to film slow motion. You even know how the first movie was ever made, the one of the horse galloping, so that it was over a bet that the horse had all 4 feet off the ground at one time. And they were able to do that in before they had talkie movies, man. So Craig is talking right out of his ass. Maybe he's lactating. I don't know. But yeah, no, the technology's been around for a long fucking time. A lot of slow motion was used when Kubrick filmed 2001 A Space Odyssey. They used high-speed film and slowed it back down to regular speed, man. What is he talking about? They didn't have the technology. They absolutely had the freaking technology. Kubrick had just released it in a movie.
One better.
I would like to. I'm
second
still
there, Russ.
talking.
It's his time, right?
I would like to see evidence that actually existed. The technology, physically, to do the faking existed. Not
2001 Space Odyssey. Boom. It's over. 1968. Full year before they went to the moon. Test run, perhaps?
just this looks like the same place. That's not showing me the technology. I want to see evidence, the technology to fake it.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm going to share my screen. Here's the evidence. This is them faking Mars by using islands on Earth. Here's them
Okay,
faking.
Mars is not
Here's
the
them
moon landing.
faking.
Let's stick
It's
to
his
the moon
minute.
landing.
It's his minute.
It goes to
Right, no,
credibility.
all right, we're
It
not
goes to
doing minute,
credibility.
minute, minute. We're doing back and forth.
Yeah, we are. No,
we
we
gotta
are doing
do-
minute, minute,
We're
minute.
not.
We
We're
gotta
not.
do,
We're
we
not.
gotta do
Right.
it back and forth,
Let's stick
Ross.
to the
Just
moon
chill,
landing.
please.
Let's stick to the moon landing. Okay. Stop talking
You guys
about Mars.
don't like evidence of anything, but NASA's
I would
lying.
I would like to talk
and
about the moon
Are
landing.
we doing minute,
This
minute,
is
minute,
not
or are
the
you
moon landing.
interrupting?
You're
us?
using-
Shut
up.
You're using
We are having a
non-credible sources.
conversation.
All right,
Your
all right.
sources are
Dustin's
non-credible and
Screen
destroyed.
is up right now.
Jerry, ding, 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 ding. Right? Holy cow, guys. Moderate there. What's that fucking guy's name? He needs to do his job, bro. But I think it points to credibility. But I mean, I would have just said Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey, 1968. Boom. Over. There it is. If you've ever seen the movie, what do? They land on the moon, don't they? And they hop around and shit. And they find this monolith, and they've got construction equipment up there that they're operating and all this fucking shit, right? Doesn't exist, eh? Didn't exist, huh? They didn't have the technology to make shit seem like it was weightless on film in 1969, huh? Really? Come on.
Now, so we're gonna give Dustin the last 30 seconds here, and then we'll hand it over to Ozian. Try to pull us
Your
back in
sources your sources are completely non-credible, including all governments, including NASA, and they're lying and it's clear, and they're faking it and it's clear, and you're defending it and it's clear, and you're liars and it's clear. And you have no burden of proof. You have nothing but appeals to authority, like the government says so because the other governments say so, is circular reasoning. And by the way, the causation argument is ironically, again, absolute evidence for God, the law of cause and effect, first cause, meaning nothing
Begging
plus
the
nothing
question
equals
fallacy.
my turn, nothing plus nothing equals nothing, nothing plus God equals everything. It's not a begging the question fallacy. It's called the law of cause and effect.
It's begging the question.
Still got 5
I
seconds.
just want to point out that he did
You're
not
wrong.
answer
It's
my
not begging the question. You don't know anything about logic. That is not begging the question.
No, that
Stop
is
saying
literally
that.
begging
Just
the
because you
question.
haven't.
All right,
It is
guys.
literally begging the question,
Mute
right?
them.
But
All right, just,
I would
minute,
like
right?
yeah, sorry guys. I
It's
said
Ozian's turn.
Ozian's tech.
Ozian's
Ozian's turn next, guys.
He
All right,
interrupted him though, so I had to interrupt him back. He's interrupting my guys.
All right, if you guys keep making this impossible, we will have to mosey somewhere else to another pocket of the internet. So we got to follow the rules that we're trying to set up here so we can keep this running on track. Like I said, it's Ozian's turn, so please respect the rules, guys.
Apparently it's impossible to have a discussion here. But anyways, Dustin just called us both liars. So this is not going to be an honest debate anyways. So in his minute monologue with his bullshit pictures that are obviously all photoshopped, they've all been refuted, debunked, but he doesn't care about investigating it. But I do have a question for Ross, because you said, don't interrupt me, Dustin. You called me a liar. I don't really have much.
So now they're just springering out, man. Yeah, now it's the flat earthers' fault. See, me and Flats would have ended this already. It would have been over because we would have used that one word that just tears those globes apart. Entropy is such a nasty word because they can't deal with the fact that you're not going to fucking space, man. That's what's up.
Much respect for you right now. So you said that witnesses shouldn't testify. So we presume people as being innocent. So the presumption should be the government is innocent of lying. And we allow people to give evidence on a witness stand to testify that they are innocent and testify on a witness stand. And that is evidence. So you are wrong in your opening argument. You claim you support.
But you can't always convict on testimony alone, okay? Because what a good lawyer will understand is that each person is going to give a different account, okay? And if he picks at it enough, he can get different accounts and discredit each one of the witnesses from each other. Physical evidence is what does most of convictions, okay? Physical evidence. That's what really holds the water right there. Yeah, entropy is the death to the globe. Absolutely, 100%. But yeah, that's what you got to have, actual physical evidence, you know. And we don't really have any. In fact, here's the thing too. All right. So you think about this rocket goes up, we see it go up and off into space apparently or whatever. Well, we never see it do that. We see it go out that way. Anyway, they telling us it goes into space, but we don't see that thing flaming and catching fire from the speed and shit of the friction of the atmosphere as it's going out. But it does when it comes in. And then these parachutes open up. And here's this thing that was just a few minutes ago. It was red fucking hot. It was red hot. And it comes down and it hits the cold ocean. And there's no cloud of steam, nothing, no cracking of the metal because of sudden. There's so much that people don't understand and look at it. And the devil's in the details. It really is. Well, they've got people focus on dots, stand back, look at the whole picture, then look at the dots.
Historical claims, but you ask for empirical evidence for historical claims. That's a joke. Historical claims aren't science, so you don't appreciate history. Historical claims about primary sources, primary documentation, secondary documentations, in which we have loads, tons and tons and tons and tons. We just landed a lunar lander on the moon 2 days ago.
First off, you are not part of we. Do you have a mouse in your pocket? Were you in any way, shape, or form connected to that other than being a fanboy? Nope. I see people do that, and it's a team that they like wins, and they go, "We won," like they were part of it or something. It's like, no, man, you didn't have any fucking thing to do about it. You painted yourself up like a fool and got drunk. You didn't help. Okay. Same thing with these guys. And then to claim that this thing landed, didn't it tip over? We didn't get any footage of it or anything. There's no video or anything. They're just saying it, Yeah. You can't violate natural law. You can't. It's entropy. Okay. You can't win. You can't lose. You can't even quit the game. Okay. And it's ongoing all the time.
Okay, I want to respond directly to what you said, then I'll get into the other stuff I have written down. So that was pretty good, but the reality is that it's not like that. It's not that they're on trial, right? You're saying you did something, right? Hey, I saw a unicorn, right? Or I did this. That's why I'm saying you have to provide evidence for it, right? So we can go back and forth on that, but I'm like, it's a sticky subject with that one, you know what I mean? But I did want to say that Craig said that you have to prove that the technology existed to fake the moon landing back then, right? Okay, but let me do you one better, right? Because even if we can't prove it existed back then, we can prove that the technology exists now. So
have a good day at work, Flatoid, and be safe, man. Good to have you on here tonight. See you next time, bro.
Whether they had it back then or not is up for debate. But it's not up for debate. Can you prove that we have the technology to go to the moon right now? Can you prove that we have the technology to go to the moon even right now? You can't prove that we had it back then, and you can't prove we have it. I am not done, buddy. I get it. I know it hurts.
This is a conversation, dude.
These but you have to listen in order to have a conversation. You have to listen.
I am listening.
These 1 minute monologues is killing y'all.
You guys have been triggered the whole time.
Monologues is killing y'all. I get it. It's killing.
We haven't been triggered once.
Ross, you got 10 seconds to wrap it up, guys. Just
I'm like, can I finish? I know.
You got 10 seconds, Ross.
Ice work. Listen, you can't prove we have the technology to go to the moon now.
Yes, we can.
Had it back then. So what do you mean? The least amount of assumptions. All we have to do is assume that they're lying. We don't have to assume that. We know governments lie. So there's no assumptions in assuming we didn't go to the moon. There's tons of assumptions in assuming we did.
All right, over to FT.
Bow.
Okay. There's no assumptions. There is evidence that we can prove that we went. We can prove that we got the technology to go now. These things all exist. You just deny them. I want to make it absolutely one.
John, just because you're in the Air Force doesn't mean that you haven't been fed bullshit. In fact, it means you have been filled with bullshit. I was filled with bullshit in the military as well. All right. That's not proof of anything going up to space or going to the moon at all. I'm in the Air Force and they told us and showed us that it does. And well, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. They told us a bunch of fucking shit too that wasn't true.
100% clear that when I asked for evidence of the technology existing, for the moon landing, for recording it being fake, that I was then shown pictures of Mars that are photoshopped. Put your hand down, I'll let you know when I'm done. Right. So there's no, the question that I asked was not answered. He went on a rant about something else. Now, again, this conversation is about the moon landing and the evidence of if we went or not. Ozian and I presented evidence showing that there's third-party verification, and I have shown evidence that the technology to fake it did not exist based on the current technology at the time. Whether the technology exists now is irrelevant. You have the burden of proof to show the technology to fake it existed at the time, and that is what I'm asking. Please don't go on a total, tangent. Just focus on that one thing and show me the technology.
And a private company just landed on.
I show you that. I just said it, man. Stanley Kubrick, 1968. There it is. You expect me to show you an entire fucking Stanley Kubrick film that everybody's seen? Go ahead and go watch it. There's your proof. Most of the people in the audience have probably seen it, So take that, you mark ass bitch.
On the moon 2 days ago. Private company, not a government.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Okay. I'm going to just let this play in the background since I will show once again the technology. So please make sure screen share is working. Is that?
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, technology in
Great.
the 60s.
My turn. Thanks. This is okay. My turn. Also,
Why
I
are you
didn't
not showing technology in the 60s?
All right, 1 second.
Can you
let
mute
you
them?
respond?
They're incredible. They're very triggered. They're so triggered. First of all, I didn't ask for empirical evidence for a historical event. I asked for proven science that stands up to scrutiny, including evidence. I also showed evidence that your witnesses, governments, and NASA are liars. Who, by the way, NASA has also given us whistleblowers who say it never happened. Here is one of your NASA astronauts lying to you with a green screen, faking gravity in space, lack of gravity in space, I should say. They're all liars. That's what they do. And
that is
they
not
are.
NASA.
15 seconds.
That is Karen Nyberg.
Order! It's Ozian next. Ozian's next. Craig, Ozian's next. Let him go.
No! Jesus Christ. Do you even check your sources?
I know you're mad. Let your friend jump in.
That is how it can be faked. Also, zero-G planes is another way.
Again, I asked for proof the technology existed.
It's Ozian's turn. You're even interrupting your partner.
Ross, will you shush, boy? Chill out.
I
asked for proof it existed in the 60s.
I'll be quiet if you be quiet. How about that? Both of us.
I asked, again, I just want to point out that my question wasn't responded to.
You're right, Craig. Your question wasn't responded to, but Dustin claims he wants the truth. He just showed a lie. That video was made by flat earthers. That was not an astronaut. That has been confirmed to be a lie. A video that was made by a husband and wife flat earther with a green screen, and you're promoting and sharing a confirmed lie, Dustin.
That means that he's the liar, right?
He's probably doing it out of ignorance because he doesn't actually verify the sources. He doesn't actually fact check. No, it's not your turn. It's Ross's turn, unless he wants to give the floor. But you don't care about the truth, Dustin. This is not about the truth to you. This is about you preaching your cosmology. If you wanted to have a debate about the cosmology of the world, we should.
I gotta agree with Ozian on that one. That thing with the green screen, that is from somebody showing it how easy it is to fake it. Okay, and that was the part of the demonstration showing that they're using a green screen. All right, and then they show the finished product with the green screen background added, and it's pretty interesting. So yeah, that technology exists today. Did they have green screen technology? No, not quite. Did they have chroma key type things that they were doing with film? Yeah, they were playing around with it. In fact, Kubrick was playing around with it. But I would have just said, here's the technology, 1968, Stanley Kubrick, Space Odyssey, 2001. Oh, over. Done.
Could have had that debate because I could easily refute your religious beliefs.
Please
but
do.
That's not the debate here.
Let's have that debate.
Today.
I accept.
Debate we're having to debate.
I accept.
On if we landed on the moon or not.
I accept your challenge.
I just want to say I will concede 40 seconds of my time to Dustin, but I just want to start off by saying I like Ozian, just think about what the reason why Dustin keeps showing that as proof, because if you're in court and you lie one time, the rest of your testimony is inadmissible. That's why he's saying that.
He hasn't shown NASA lying though.
First of all, even if that is
the rest of my time to Dustin, not you, Craig. Dustin.
Even if that is not Karen Nyberg, it looks a lot like her. However, you asked for the evidence of the technology, not a specific astronaut doing something. This actually would work for NASA to fake it, and they do it often. They get caught doing it often with green screens, harnesses, bubbles, green screens, near drowning incidents.
Gee, you had to jump in. No, they never get caught. Fuck you. I've got an entire folder full of NASA screw ups, man. I'm putting them together into one long video. I'm just looking for the right soundtrack for it and shit. You got to be careful for copyright reasons. I saw another one that was used once before called Puppets, and they use that song Puppets on a String. And it's that song, na 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 da da da, and it shows these fucking guys just, you can see the wire glinting in the sunlight, or the studio light, I should say. See them dropping shit, and they fall over, and then they just jerk back up into position and shit. And it's like harnesses on the space station, guy floating by in the back. I mean, there's so many. There's too many to even count, you know.
Grabbing things that are not there, disappearing out of holes that are not there, looking at things that are not there, all sorts of fake things they keep getting caught doing on their own official, like so-called ISS. No, it hasn't. So-called ISS. It's all fake.
Okay, I'm going to respond to that, what he just said, right? What he just said about all the NASA fake stuff, right? No, right. Let's specifically focus first on the person disappearing clip. Yeah, no, that was actually 2 clips put together. It wasn't 1 clip. So maybe you don't know what video editing is. To grab something. No, again, the video you've seen is just on a loop. The entire video, you've watched the whole thing. He's actually moving his hands like that the entire time. So yeah, it has been debunked. There's never been anything proven to be fake from NASA. Just you guys say they are fake without any evidence or proof that they are fake. Now, I want to actually focus on the evidence and the things that were said here instead of just claiming governments lie, blah, blah, blah. Specific things that you guys brought up, right? You said
sure,
they can only get to low Earth orbit, can't get past the Van Allen belts.
Right.
Yeah, again, right. That was out of context. They were talking specifically about the current technology and the challenges with that, because it's a lot more susceptible to solar radiation. So just, don't cherry pick, actually talk about context. You also said about Buzz Aldrin said we didn't go. No, he didn't. He was talking to a little girl about going back. He spent the entire conversation saying about how he went to the moon. Then at one bit, he was talking about when they were going back, and he said, no, we didn't, because they didn't go back. Stop being liars and cherry picking and then claiming that me and Ozian are liars.
Because he didn't fund it.
It's Dustin's time now. Yeah, I conceded my last time.
Ross, you're not the moderator, so just let the moderator.
I'm trying to be a fair man. Are you? Look, we're civil in America, all right? I don't know how you guys get down here in America. We're civil, and we like to let other people talk and hear them out, and not interrupt them like you guys over there, all right? I don't do.
Ross, it's just
the reason why we can't have
Ross got to calm down a little bit. I got to say, you're gonna have to calm down a little bit. So here's my flag. I saw somebody saying we've been at war for so long and whatnot. Yep, this is constantly how I'm displaying everywhere. Yeah, Ross, he kind of losing his shit here.
Civil discussion back and forth is because of you, Ross.
Yeah.
You guys have been way more triggered than he has.
Because of me specifically? What did I do?
No, we haven't.
You guys got him.
You
upset him by yelling.
Overall,
I've been rooting myself. What did I do?
You won't do it back and forth. You want 1 minute thinking dialogue.
How am I not doing back and forth? I said, ask me. But when you ask me a question, I need to respond before you cut me off. You guys like to do that and not give us a chance to respond.
Conversations have interjections, Ross. Conversations have interjections. If you aren't an adult,
at a certain point, if you're not listening,
then I understand.
At a certain point, if you're not listening, the conversation is over. So that's why we need to do 1 minute.
We are listening. That's why we're interjecting.
No, you're not. You're cutting me off.
All right. Dustin's sharing screen.
You're not doing that.
Dustin, you got 45.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to show you a couple seconds here of moon wind. Check that out. Watch this flag. Let's see, where was it? I might be at the wrong time.
Okay. Yeah, the flag's moving because of inertia. As simple as that. When they put it down, they moved it, and there's nothing to stop it moving. End of story. Next.
No, it doesn't ripple because of that. It's definitely not rippling. that
It's
quickly.
rippling. Right.
because of
Okay.
that.
The answer is, I know you're going to ignore the answer, but the answer is the flag is moving because they were moving it when they put it into the ground, and the inertia kept it moving because there's no friction in space to stop it moving. That's why it moved. Simple. Done. Next.
Nope. That's not how it
Yes.
works.
You can
I have
say
a- I have a
all you
question.
like.
There's
You come
clearly
I made up a fucking answer, and therefore that is all there is. Next question, please, because I am the arbitrator of reality.
friction.
Hold on,
There's
hold on,
clearly
hold on,
friction, or they would
hold on,
drift
hold
off
on.
We'll
into
leave,
space
we'll leave it,
when
we'll
they
leave it
walk.
up, Dustin. But we'll let him respond to
You
what
can
somebody
say
said.
all you like,
Is he still
but it
sharing
doesn't
the
change the
screen?
fact that I just debunked you.
I didn't say no.
You did not just debunk him.
I did.
All you
You
did
want to
was
hear
talk.
what I
debunked
actually
him.
said? Or you
did
guys
You are
want me to talk?
saying that's all. You are saying to
You want to let me
debunk. I
talk?
just
Nuh-uh.
debunked you.
No, you didn't.
I
Because
did. I
what
just
you're
did it.
saying is incorrect, and I could debunk that.
It's
If
not
you'll
incorrect.
actually let me talk. Can you mute this
He
asshole?
likes arguing. He likes arguing. That's why I'm like,
We'll give
I
you the
won't
last
interrupt
15
you.
Still
feet.
sharing
Your
the
screen has been
screen.
up
I
for a
won't
while
interrupt you
there,
either.
so
You
we're
see this?
It's how Joe Cool's doing the other night, man. It's like, motherfucker, man. It's okay, we'll explain the sunset. And I'm like, okay, well, we just explained the sunset. Give me a minute here. I'm going to show you. But what about an eclipse? Hold the fucking phone here, man. Thought you were asking about the sunset. Now you're talking about the goddamn eclipse. It's like, holy shit, man. It's like, oh, the earth's flat. Well, solve everything in the universe, including the shit that we made up. It's like, fuck you, man. What are you doing? Let's go at this shit one at a time.
let's stop the screen share,
Why-
and we'll.
I'm
give the
waiting
last
for you to
15
debunk what I
seconds.
said on you.
I haven't gotten to talk yet. I haven't even gotten to make the point yet.
He just played the
Okay.
video. That's it.
So basically, in essence, here, if what you're saying is there's nothing to stop movement, then what stops the guy from drifting off into space every time he hops around?
Gravity.
Then why doesn't the flag stop?
Because the flag is being pulled down by gravity, but that doesn't stop inertia and kinetic energy moving sideways.
Then what stops them from drifting off? If it's so low, gravity is so low there.
It's
that
1/6 of
that
the
this
Earth.
thing is flapping around like it's got
Yeah,
wind.
gravity doesn't stop things flapping around. Gravity is pulling the flag and the astronauts down at the same rate, about 1/6 that of Earth. The movement of the flag is the
Flag
energy
has
put
weight.
into. Yeah, that's why it's being pulled down to the moon by gravity. But that doesn't change the fact that the material can have other forces acting on it at the same time as gravity. Those forces are imparted by the astronaut putting it into the ground and transferring some of his energy to the flag. And then there's nothing to stop that flag waving. Gravity is still pulling it down. That's why nothing's floating off into space.
Sounds like you in science to me. Here's
It's
another
actual science.
Here's
Well,
a
no,
Not my
wait,
fault you don't understand
wait.
physics.
All right, let's
Here's a
let
whistleblower.
Ozian, hold on before we share screen there, Dustin. Just hold on. Let's let Ozian in here.
Well, he's already sharing the screen, so it's fucking
It's
up
off.
the
It's
thing.
off. It's off.
Oh, okay. Go ahead there.
This is what a flag waving looks like.
which is exactly what we just saw.
No, it was not at all what you just saw. This is what we just saw. The flag is still
It's
not moving.
Waving. It's waving.
No,
It's
That-
still,
that-
it's
Inertia
wrinkled.
does not explain that. That's
It's
not
still
inertia.
wrinkled?
what
Can
what
you-
is
can you
inertia?
Show the
What is
doesn't
inertia?
fit?
What is inertia, Dustin?
Inertia is not this.
What is it?
Well, I guess if you're trying to define it, it would be the momentum that continues after release. I'm not sure the official definition.
Okay, so it's a maintenance of momentum, right?
Sure.
So if something's stuck into the ground, it's going to have that momentum, the force when it goes in the ground. So it's going to swing, and then when it reaches a point, it's going to swing back, and the thing stops swinging. You showed a part of the video where the flag was not moving at all because it's lost the momentum. You did in the video. You actually stopped it there first, and you moved ahead, jumped ahead. So either you're trying to pull a con because
I have a question.
the first part you stopped at to play it, they were walking around and the flag wasn't waving.
All right, so here's what's weird. Inertia, the root word of it, inert, which means neutral or static, means it doesn't have an effect. Okay. But inertia is the tendency of objects in motion to stay in motion and objects at rest to stay at rest, unless a force causes its speed or direction to change. Okay. That's the definition that is given for inertia.
Oh, I have a question.
So
Ocean. So
what-
if it was that easy for them to tap the flag in, why was there no crater, right, when however much pounds of metal landed on the moon?
With
Oh,
no
so we're
exhaust.
changing the
Yeah.
subject. Right. Okay.
Huh?
We're changing the
Well,
subject. Right.
first of all,
Just
I
that's
said I was I look, I know it's rough, right?
that's okay.
Listen, I just want the audience to know every time.
So inert, lacking the ability or strength to move, she lay inert in her bed, unmoving, motionless, immobile, still, stock still, stationary, lacking vigor, chemically inactive. So these are lethargic, spiritless, unenergetic. So it's just a dumb word, really.
We make a point
That's
that they don't
okay.
answer to. That's when
No,
Craig interrupts.
I can't. No,
I
we
just-
can answer the-
simultaneous.
I need better
Simultaneous,
video.
right?
Why?
I need
No,
better
Ross.
video.
Ross, we can answer the question to the why
Eh.
I
there's
wanted
no
to hear your answer, but
crater.
he interrupted you for some reason.
I didn't interrupt. I just
He's
pointed
mad.
out that He's
pointed
that we're
upset.
changing the subject instead
Let's
of
stop
like
the
finishing what we're
meta.
Who
talking
needed you to
about.
point that out?
Let's stop the meta. So we've already explained why the flag maintains momentum and it
Right.
stopped. He showed it in the video.
Right, right,
so
right.
I disagree.
So the
No,
crater-
I
Yeah, but
disagree.
you gave the answer though.
So-
we disagree,
so you
but yeah, we heard you.
So you understand you had the command service module, right? That was attacked to the lunar module. The lunar module detached, came down and landed. So there's no like the lunar module. I'm not sure how much it weighed. Do you know? Remember how much the lunar module weighed, Craig?
There was a
No,
road,
not
there
off
was a
by
car
hand.
inside. Remember, there was a car inside that.
There was a folded up little almost like a
Yeah, it was folded
lawn,
up. Yeah.
yeah, it was a folded up like almost like a lawn chair.
It's a Jeep chassis. I have a Jeep. I know Jeeps. It's a Jeep chassis.
See, the
So
two
they have
people could
foot
see.
tracks. So their feet are strong enough to make imprints, but the weight of
They're-
the thing isn't.
Oh no, there was yeah. So it did leave tracks. They left the platform there. So when
But if you
when
look at
the
the
lunar-
platform when they landed, there's no like sign of them
They-
using any kind of thrust there's no sign. It looks like it was sat down
They-
perfectly by a crane, literally like a
No.
movie set.
Would you like an
No.
answer?
Of course,
Okay, right. If you give me like a minute to give you an actual proper answer, then
I'll try not to
I
do
can
what
do
you've
that.
been doing this whole debate and interrupt.
I mean, I don't mind interjections if you want to ask questions because that's how conversations work. But anyway,
You have to hear
the
the other
absence of a
person
crater
all the
beneath the
way
lunar
out.
module of the Apollo
All
missions,
the
despite
way.
landing on the moon's surface with a rocket engine firing, can be explained by several key factors related to the moon's surface, the design of the lunar module, and the physics of the landing process.
He must tell his old lady, I have a stream here very soon. Will you please squeeze my head in your ass? My hair is not quite right. Please squeeze my hair in your ass and pull off abruptly so that it will stick up like a chocolate chip.
Thrust distribution and descent speed. The LM was designed to slow its descent as it approached the moon's surface, significantly reducing its speed for a soft landing. By the time it reached the surface, the thrust needed to counteract the moon's weaker gravity, about 1/6 of Earth, was relatively low. The engine of the LM was throttled down to less than 3,000 pounds of thrust as it neared touchdown, spread out over a wide area by the engine's bell-shaped nozzle. A wide area, meaning there was less force per area, less likely to leave marks. Nozzle design and altitude cutoff. The design of the LM's descent engine nozzle helped to spread the engine's exhaust gases over a wide area, reducing the concentration of force directed at the lunar surface. Furthermore, the engine was cut off at a height of about 1.5 meters above the surface to prevent a hard landing and to minimize the disturbance of lunar soil. The surface of the moon, especially at the sites chosen for the Apollo landings, is covered by a layer of regolith, a fine powdery dust and small rock debris. This regolith layer absorbs and disperses the force of the exhaust gases without creating a large crater. The lunar's regolith properties, including its lack of cohesion and moisture, allow it to behave differently.
Yes, the lack of adhesion and moisture. How the fuck did they leave a footprint? You cannot leave a footprint like we're shown in wet or in dry dust like that. There has to be moisture and cohesion in order to leave the footprint. So I hope they're paying attention. From
Earth's soil, making it less prone to being displaced in a manner that would create a visible crater. On Earth, rocket.
It has to have been a minute. It has to have been a minute.
I was gonna say, feel
Has
free.
it been a minute yet? Jesus Christ.
I've got one more point. Honor.
The audience is about to
engine.
fall
I've
asleep.
got one more bit.
You're falling
Honor.
asleep.
I've got one more
last
bit.
second,
I've
Ross.
got one more
But I
bit.
was gonna say you guys were
That
free to
made
jump in.
absolutely no sense.
I've got
Zero.
one more bit.
Like,
I've got
Alright.
one more
I wanna
bit.
clear-
I've got one more.
Guys.
I've got one more bit. I've
Please.
got one more bit. Honor. Rocket engines can create craters or scorched areas beneath them due to the combination of atmospheric pressure and the ground's resistance. On the moon, the lack of an atmosphere means the exhaust gases from the LM's engines would disperse more quickly into the vacuum of space, reducing the direct impact force on the surface beneath the spacecraft. There we go. That's why there was no marks underneath the lander. End of story.
Bullshit.
Yeah, most of that didn't make any sense at all. Some of it kind of
you,
sounded like
yeah.
it made sense, but actually doesn't make any sense.
That
Well, no, you didn't understand
We
it.
just let you
I
give
will
the
concede that
Gettysburg
We're letting Dustin
Address.
speak, guys.
it's my turn, guys.
Jesus.
You guys have all been talking forever.
Well,
I will
just because
concede
you
that I
don't
need a
understand
better.
It doesn't mean it's not true.
We're gonna
I
Dustin
can't wait
speak.
till our next debate, Ozian. I would love to see who understands more. So basically, I agree. I need a better video of the moon wind, but that doesn't make it it's fake. I mean, you can clearly see that it was billowing in a way that does not just. I mean, they had to have punched it repeatedly to get that kind of impact, not just set it down in the ground. However, I also want to talk about the witnesses you guys want to go to, historically speaking. What about Gus Grissom? Do you guys have any
Let's
comments
talk
there?
about it.
What about him?
This is a NASA whistleblower who held an unauthorized press conference in 1967, January 22nd, which he told the U.S. Through reporters that we're at least a decade away from ever contemplating a lunar mission. He was rebuked for this and then blew up not too long
We all
later.
know. Yeah, we all know.
Well, I
what
guess he
happened
was
to him.
wrong, wasn't he?
We all know that. Oh,
Um,
because he died. That must mean he's wrong. The government
Yeah.
has never killed anybody to cover up a secret. They don't do that. Why?
Killed the other two guys too, man. Burned up in that thing. Pure oxygen. Pure oxygen. Woof. Fried him in a second.
Would they kill the president in front of everybody? Oh, well, what? Why do you guys believe anything that these
Again,
people
can
say?
we, can we
ever?
stick to
I
moon
can't
landing,
even
please?
fathom that. I can't fathom ever believing that anything the government ever says ever.
Well, your incredulity is
That's
irrelevant
insane.
to this.
1 minute
so-
for you, FTFE.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
crazy.
we'll
Yeah, it's
hand
not
it
an
over.
argument, but I'm just saying, like, wow.
Go ahead.
Over to FTFE.
I mean, I don't really have a response to that. One guy said one thing and was wrong. I mean,
Oh,
there we go.
So appeal to authority no longer
what-
works.
Next minute will be for Ross. Just hold on.
Again, that and I didn't say appeal to authority. This is just one person that said one thing and was clearly wrong because we went to the moon. So one person saying,
Whoa, talk about a reification. He was clearly wrong because we went to the moon. No, wait a second. That's what we're discussing here. You just, oh, that's a fact. How'd they get out of the container there, Craig? How'd they get out?
one thing and being wrong doesn't change the moon landings.
That's a classic circular reasoning fallacy.
And
No,
it
no,
was
it's no
also
fallacy
made,
there.
wait,
How is
That's
that a
100%
We
fallacy?
still have
circular
30
reasoning.
seconds, so we'll give it to
He
Ozian.
must have been wrong because we went to the moon. How you know we went to what? That's
Oh, all the
crazy.
we've already given all the evidence who went
We
to the
not
moon.
still
First of
speak English
all-
in England?
You
All
gave
right,
no
guys,
evidence.
Guys.
no.
Oh, we
Handing
given
it over to
second-
Ozian. 30 seconds.
Secondly, it was a prediction about a future event that he was wrong about. So you're not appealing to an authority about that knew about landing on a moon. You appealed to an authority that was making a prediction about our ability to land on the moon in the future, and his prediction was wrong. People get predictions wrong. That is not a fallacy.
That's not a prediction when you hang a lemon on the side of the fucking lunar lander and shit. This is a lemon, okay? That's what they call like a car that you buy that doesn't work. Costs a lot of money and it doesn't work. It's called a lemon. All right. And that's what he was saying. And he also had said, how in the hell are we going to go to the moon when we can't even communicate between two buildings? That was another.
To appeal to him for a prediction, and it's not a fallacy to reject it when we know that we actually landed on the moon.
I'll bounce it
I
back
just
to you in
wanna
a
say-
second there, Ozian, but I did say I'd give it to Ross after
Yeah,
this.
okay,
So,
okay,
minute for
right.
you.
And when I started talking, Craig interrupted me right away, because he knew I was about to spit
All right,
that hot.
let's try not to do any meta. Let's focus there. So,
The
1
reason
minute.
why it's circular reasoning is because the event you're saying he was wrong about is the event in question. Okay, I want everybody out there that has critical thinking to understand what I'm saying. Okay, the event in question is the one that he is invoking to say that guy was obviously wrong. That, if you look in the dictionary, you're going to see Craig's face in there under circular reasoning. All right, I yield the rest of
Dictionary
my
doesn't
time to
have
Dustin.
circular reasoning.
I yield the rest of my
One
time to
second,
Dustin.
FTFE.
I yield the rest of my time to Dustin.
Craig can't help himself. Look at there. He's probably pinching his own tits. That's why he's grinning.
We'll give you.
Okay.
Oh, I'd like to respond to that first, as that was directly
But
towards me.
I'm sharing
not
screen.
done.
It's
I'm
still-
not done.
hand you the
I'm not
still
done.
my
It's
time.
Dustin's turn.
after.
As that was directly to
Still
me,
my
I would
time.
like the chance
But
to
you're not.
respond.
My
Just
time is
reserve
still
my
going
time.
though.
All right, just 1 second there. Just hold your thought. FTF.
Uncivilized they
You will
are over there.
hold-
Uncivilized.
All right, it is Dustin. We're gonna give him the last 20 seconds of your time here, and then we'll give it to you for the end there, FTFE. So just hold your thought. Go
They're just fucking uncivilized over there. Look at him.
ahead there, Dustin. You got 20 seconds.
Well, now we're up to just 2 people, not just 1 person. But this one is from 2015, who says we can only fly in Earth orbit. That is the furthest we can go from Terry Verse.
With the current technology, yeah.
No, that's 2015, way after the
Yeah,
supposed-
because we don't have the moon landing technology anymore. In 20
Yeah, it's a painful process to build it back. I would go in a nanosecond. Come on, Craig. You know they're going there. He's ready for it, though. He's used to it.
2015, we didn't have that technology because it was, we didn't use it anymore, and we hadn't yet built the new technology. So in 2015, yes, at that point with the technology that existed in 2015, we could only go to low Earth orbit. That does not disprove that we went to the moon in 1960. So yeah,
because they
Reclaim
destroyed
some of
it.
that time there, Dustin.
Because they destroyed the moon landing technology.
That is hilarious what you
Right.
just said.
Right.
The
Anyway,
comedy
and
style.
I just want to mention.
I now
Craig.
get to respond to the things that were
This
said to
is
me,
what they
right?
destroyed.
I now get
Probably,
to respond
probably
to the
destroyed
things-
itself. But
I
get-
told him that he'd be able to respond. Just hold on there, guys. So I know you're excited to keep on continuing on, but we gotta try to keep things fair here. So another minute on the
Yeah.
other side there. So go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I've kind of even forgotten the point now. I think if someone says something directly to someone, they should get the chance to respond before someone else gets time, if that's okay. Because otherwise the conversation is very disjointed. What was it that Ross was saying?
Now he's mad about interjections. No interjections now, huh, Craig?
No, that's not what I said. I said that before someone else gets a chance to. Yeah. Anyway, right. So
Ross
let
is
me
meta, like, this
hold on,
is
hold on,
bullshit,
please.
Ross, shut up.
Give me a sec. Yeah, give me a sec. Right. So what Ross was saying was just completely wrong. That's not circular reasoning, because we provided evidence that we went to the moon, and we've got millions more sources that say we went to the moon than the one source that said that we were far away from doing it. And anyway, again, they didn't say that we didn't go to the moon. It's just that one guy making a prediction. So anyway, and also, Ross, dictionaries do not have things like circular reasoning. Dictionaries have words, not like sentences. Just maybe you've never seen a dictionary. I'm not sure, because you got what a dictionary was completely wrong there. And in response to what Dustin was saying, well, I've completely forgotten what Dustin was saying now, because I was trying to remember 2 points at once. Yeah, you go for Dustin.
Okay, if you want to,
Dustin was saying there were, Dustin was talking about there were 2 testimonies that refuted the moon landing. Neither of them refuted the moon landing. One was about a future prediction. One was about current equipment that we had. I hate using the word technology. Technology implies that we don't have the knowledge. To me, we had the knowledge to go to the moon. We just didn't have the equipment because we went to the moon in 1969. We landed a lunar module. A private company landed a lunar module on the moon.
No, they didn't. They said they did. And oh, shit. Fucking thing fell over, man. Oh, no. We'll have something for you in a few days as soon as we generate something.
2 days ago. So because we didn't have equipment that could go to beyond low Earth orbit in 2015 doesn't mean we didn't have the capability to go to the moon in 2015. We just would have to build up the infrastructure to do so, like we did. Neither of those people testified that we did not go to the moon in 1969. Did they, Dustin? Answer that question. Did they testify we didn't go to the moon? Did either of them testify we didn't go to the moon, Dustin?
We're just destroying NASA's credibility every
either
statement
of
that I
them
get.
Can you answer the question?
Yeah.
Again and again and again, we destroy NASA's credibility.
Can you
These 2
answer the
also
question?
included.
Are you having a different conversation?
Let him go. We just let you guys go. Come on, let him go.
Is it my turn?
Let him
We'll
get it
give you
off.
1 full
Avoid
minute,
the
and if you
question.
feel like he doesn't answer the question, we can.
Tell him after. Yeah, tell him after.
Okay,
He's just
so
not an honest interlocutor.
first
He
of
calls
all,
me a liar.
my answer to the question is no, they didn't say that in those exact words, but they did say it through their actions and their testimony. If you read between the lines and understand what they were implying. Also, we have destroyed NASA's credibility every step of the way. They are completely and wholly without credibility. By the way, this is the technology that they claim to have destroyed, filled with missing bolts and bent aluminum foil or whatever the hell that's built out of. And it supposedly lasted through 35,000 degrees
I'm walking
Fahrenheit.
away.
It's fucking construction paper or some shit, man.
This
they're
is, by
getting
the
an
way, my
opportunity to ask
turn,
question
my turn,
after
my
question
turn,
after question
Hold
after
on.
my
question.
turn,
We're not getting a single
My
chance to
turn.
cross-examine them at all.
my turn.
My turn. All right, Ernie.
The
I'll-
supposed,
hey,
the
I'm ready for
supposed,
question.
Second, Ozium.
I'll take a question. I will.
I reserve my time.
You still got 20 seconds.
All right. The Space Shuttle thermal protection system is a max 3,000 Fahrenheit. The reinforced carbon melts at around 4,200 Celsius. So there's no way that this thing would have survived 30,
I'd really like to respond to this one
35,000
point, please.
Fahrenheit.
Right. Okay, so let me respond to this one point, please. Right, so Dustin, I quite often go to the gym, and after the gym, I go to a steam room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question to you is, how hot is steam?
I don't know the steam boiling point off the top of my head.
Well, what is water's boiling point?
212 or
In centigrade. It's 100 degree. It's 100 degrees centigrade, right?
I got a
So
wife.
Steam,
I don't
so
know this thing.
steam is 100 degrees centigrade, right? Now,
It
can the
can be
human
hotter.
body survive in a pot of water that's 100 degrees centigrade, or would you end up getting extreme burns? The answer is you would end up getting extreme burns. However, I can go into a steam room full of steam that is 100 degrees centigrade plus and not get scalded. The reason for that is there is not enough of the matter that is 100 degrees centigrade plus to transfer that heat energy to me. The same thing applies for the equipment in space. It is up.
Cool. I'm glad you brought up a fucking sauna or a steam room, because inside that module is a medium, right? In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they used to take prisoners, and for a punishment, they'd put them in a box out in the sun, and it would get really, really hot inside that box. Convection would take place. There was no circulation of the air inside of this thing, and it's getting blasted with this sun. How did they cool it? Don't tell me an air conditioner, because that would require recirculation of outside air. It's not, no.
Up there, yes, there is temperatures that are that high, but there is not anything to transfer that heat energy to do the thing that you are saying would need to do to melt it. Simple.
Incorrect. Aluminum
of course, physics is incorrect.
Aluminum is actually a very efficient medium of exchange of energy. And by the way, there's no water that will survive at 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Your ass is getting
That
cooked.
Didn't respond to my question.
Do you know what happens if you? I know what happens if you wrap a.
Hold on, you didn't actually respond.
100 is not 35,000.
Wrap a baked
100 is
potato
not
in aluminum
35,000.
foil and cook it and see what happens.
Right, you completely missed the point. Okay, in space.
I thought that was a decent point, but it's just not 35,000 though.
Ross,
That's
hold
completely
on.
ludicrous.
Yeah, Ross, chill out. My point is that in space, there is not the matter that is 35,000 degrees to transfer that heat energy. You know, to have the heat energy transferred to you, it needs to have physical contact, right? And it's except for the radiation, which is a different thing.
No.
So for the 35,000, I'm still talking, for the 35,000 degrees temperature to be transferred, there needs to be a medium to transfer that heat energy. So the same way that I can survive in a steam room where the temperature of the medium is over 100 degrees centigrade, that can survive in space because the medium is so thin. The medium is so thin.
300 degrees in a steam room?
Again, you are missing the point.
That makes no sense.
You are missing the point.
You would boil in that kind of steam.
You are
Last 10
missing
seconds to FTF.
You are missing the point.
How long can you stay in the steam room at 100? How long?
Forever?
You boil.
Forever? How long can you be in the?
You are
Last 10
missing
seconds.
the point. I can survive in a steam room for hours with the steam, but I couldn't survive in a pot of boiling water for seconds because the medium does not have enough of it to transfer the heat energy.
Dude, I
The
get
problem
that
is
point.
you do not understand physics.
All right, we're
The
gonna-
problem
I
you
get
don't
your point.
you
It's
don't
like,
understand
yeah.
cooking.
all right, Dustin.
It's a half
then Ozian.
decent point, I guess, but it
My
don't really
turn.
apply to what we're
Dustin,
talking
then
about.
Ozian. Just
All
wait.
right.
Have you ever heard of a convection oven, Craig? Just asking for a friend.
Listen, you don't understand cooking, because if you were to try to do that, it wouldn't make any sense. First of all, if you were to have that kind of steam, you would cook faster than boiling water. In fact, it would be an almost instant cook. You would be scalded into oblivion, basically, with 35,000 degrees, which would have already destroyed all of the water and evaporated it anyway. However, you do have a
Missed the
medium of
point
exchange.
entirely.
You do have a very efficient medium of exchange with aluminum, again. So the radiation is there, the temperature's there. It doesn't have to hide away from you until something touches you and touches it at the same time. It's not electricity, it's radiant energy. So it can reach you anywhere you're at, all the times, everywhere, just like light.
This is why I said you guys want us to believe they defied the laws of physics. When I
There's
read
no
this,
physics they denied. You
All right.
can't say they denied the
go
laws of
into
physics when there's no physics
35,000
they denied.
degrees.
As fun
you want-
as I want you guys to interact, 1 minute for you, Ozian.
Okay, we're gonna sit here in silence.
Here's
for
how
1
you got
minute.
past the
What?
pivot.
You said you wanted the next.
Dustin, you don't know shit about heat transfer. Radiant heat. Okay, radiant heat. You don't understand radiant heat, first of all. So it's not going to heat up the aluminum like you think it is. So when we went to the Van Allen belt, the risk going through the Van Allen belt was ionized radiation. It
Van
was
Halen
not
belt, man.
the temperature from the sun going through the Van Allen belt. First of all, we you know how we mitigate risk going through the Van Allen belt? I'll show you. Shielding. You know what blocks beta? I know it's sort of small. You know what blocks beta radiation? Aluminum. You know what produces beta radiation? Do you know what produces beta radiation? Do you? It's electrons, ionized electrons. You know what blocks alpha particles? Paper. You know what they use for insulation? They use like this mesh, this like rigid mesh that blocked alpha particles. If you had used something other than aluminum for the shielding, like lead or something like that, you would. I'm going to go longer because you've muted me and not let me speak. If they used something like lead, they would have produced something like X-rays, which would actually cause more damage, because you don't understand about radiation or convection or heat transfer. You don't even understand the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius and 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
5 seconds.
What is the melting point of aluminum?
That all worked out.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, you don't even understand that? Okay, well, I guess you.
What is the average velocity of an unladen African swallow? That's what we need to know.
Forgot something too, like me.
It
So it's
has to
actually
heat up.
1221 degrees Fahrenheit, and under
I'm sorry,
35,000
Can you say
degrees
that again?
Fahrenheit, it's 1221 degrees Fahrenheit. So less than
Wow.
2,000 in a place of
Wow.
35,000. So it wouldn't
Oh.
take very long to heat up. And we're not talking. We're not just talking about different types of ionic radiation that could penetrate and be shielded. We're talking about a temperature of 35,000 Fahrenheit. And it would melt aluminum, and it would transfer through aluminum, and the water wouldn't protect you, and you would be gone in seconds. And steam would scald you and cook you faster. If you know how to cook, you would know that you can steam vegetables like broccoli much faster than you can cook them in other ways. It's a highly efficient way of cooking, especially vegetables or people in a tin, or in this case, aluminum
When it
can.
makes sense, yeah.
There's no water in space for steam.
You still have 35,000 degrees
Well,
Fahrenheit.
he compared it to
Again,
steam.
you don't. That
Again, you
there's
do.
no medium
That's the
to
official
transfer that
science.
heat. There's no medium to.
You don't need a
transfer that
medium.
heat.
It's everywhere. It's the whole Van Allen radiation belt. They've
Right,
tested
okay,
it. The fake science, according to the governments, all agree that the Van Allen radiation belt gets up to 35,000.
By the way,
Fahrenheit.
the one that
So,
came up with that
right,
was
that-
one of
the
the original
statement
people
that's-
working on the Apollo mission. Let's
Right.
not
Okay.
forget
So
that, right.
the statement that space
And-
is 36,000 degrees is a misconception. In reality, the concept of temperature in the vacuum of space doesn't apply in the way that it does in environments containing
No,
matter, like
we're-
on
A
Earth.
lot of
within the atmosphere.
presuppositions there.
No,
A lot of
I'm
presuppositions there.
I'm in the middle of talking, so let me.
I know, I heard
Right.
you.
So
45
space
seconds, Rob.
itself is closely a vacuum, which means it has no atmosphere, no air, and no matter in the vast majority of its volume. Without matter, there are no molecules or atoms to have kinetic energy that would manifest as temperature in the way we understand it on Earth. The 36,000 degrees is not.
That's what I'm wondering, effed up world. So if you've got this temperature and this is listed by NASA, right? If there's no transfer, then how the fuck did you get any kind of a reading of temperature? That's what exactly. I wondered that exact same thing. It don't make any sense.
Being transferred to the material because there is no medium to do that.
Okay, can I? It's my
Think
turn.
about this.
My turn,
Really quick,
One
simple,
second.
really quick.
I'm just gonna talk for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. All right.
Yeah,
I just want to start off.
bounce back.
Look,
Sorry.
number one, I just want to say, Ryan, you're doing a good job, man. All right, you're doing a good job. And I want
I've had
everybody.
to place everybody on a lot of mutes here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
No,
don't
you're doing a good job. I want everybody in the audience to recognize that what I said in my opening rings true. I said we're gonna have a lot of conversations about whether or not this is even possible. We're not gonna be talking about proof that it actually happened. Think about it, because you don't have any proof that it actually happened. Think about all this. This is the nuts and bolts. It would be possible. It would be. We don't have to discuss it's possible if you have the real proof. If you had the proof, this wouldn't even be an argument. Go ahead.
I was trying to look for a thermos. So if anybody's had a coffee cup with a vacuum coffee cup, that vacuum later it blocks heat from transferring from the inner side of the cup to the outer side of the cup. So
But
blocks
you know there's a
heat.
presupposition that space is a vacuum, though.
Vacuum.
If somebody doesn't.
Well, they don't appeal to the Van Allen belt, because appealing to the Van Allen belt is appealing to a vacuum, appealing to the.
That's a hostile
Kelvin.
witness.
Yep.
That's a hostile witness,
No.
basically.
Then you have to appeal to the whole claim. You can't just cherry pick what you're appealing to with the claim.
That's fallacious. That's
So
fallacious.
No, it's not fallacious.
It
Your
is.
argument's fallacious because cherry picking is a fallacious argument. When you're appealing to the whatever 36,000 Kelvin, and I read it was 2 to 20,000 Kelvin based upon the ionized radiation, which we had shielding for, which was the aluminum and paper sheet. Well, not paper, was the insulation.
I want you to know from my perspective, it sounds like you're just saying that. My bad. It sounds like you're just saying that. Like, I don't know that that's true. Go ahead, Dustin.
If it doesn't,
you don't know how the coffee cup works, like like a vacuum coffee cup works, like it blocks heat.
Why would they need the shielding if there's nothing that can touch the aluminum?
To stop the astronauts having radiation.
But it can't touch them
gonna
because nothing
stop
bridges
fucking
them, right? According
radiation.
to your logic.
According to what aluminum ain't going to stop radiation. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Every time you go for an X-ray, they go ahead and they put that aluminum vest on you, right? Aluminum doesn't stop radiation, dumbass.
Radiation can still damage cells. Radiation
But it can't touch them. There's no steam. There's no steam. There's no medium of exchange.
No one's saying that radiation can't touch people. That's a.
Well, you're saying it can't.
At all.
You're saying that it can't touch the ship.
We got a lot of smart people in this audience, man. You guys are fucking batting 1,000 out there. You know that? This is pretty awesome. This chat's batting 1,000 in here. Glenn says aluminum foil is a conductor of heat, not an insulator. Exactly, man. Exactly.
Ship.
No, I'm saying it can't transfer the heat energy.
But
because that's not how it works.
Then how could it burn them?
Because it does different things. It's not the heat that would affect them. It would be the actual damage to their DNA from
35,000 degrees Fahrenheit would not affect.
Again,
them.
right? Okay, right.
Got it.
Can I please have 2 minutes to just talk
No!
through some science?
No!
Some science.
12 minutes? Hell no.
Some science.
No, I would like 2 minutes. I'm
I'll
asking
give
the
you my-
moderator. I'm asking the moderator for 1 minute.
With all the objections, we'll keep it fair at 1 minute. So.
I want 2 minutes as well. Then
No, 1 minute.
after.
I'm having 1 minute to talk through the science. All right, and if there is a response, I would like the response to be specifically to the things that I have said. All right. So the Van Allen radiation belts are regions of space surrounding Earth filled with high energy particles trapped by Earth's magnetic field. The concept of temperature as applies to these belts is not straightforward because temperature typically refers to kinetic energy of particles in a material. The particles in the Van Allen belts are moving at high speeds, which could be equated to very high temperatures if one were to convert the kinetic energy of these particles into an equivalent temperature value. However, it's more a measure of particle energy than temperature in thermal space. The concept of temperature being 36,000 degrees in the concept of Van Allen belts likely stems from misunderstanding or misrepresentation of the energy levels of the particles within the belts. The belts do not contain particles with very high energies, and if these energies were to be analogously related to thermal temperatures, the figures could be extremely high. However, this doesn't mean the belts themselves are at a thermal temperature of 36,000 degrees in the way we would understand the temperature of object and environment on Earth. There is more that I would like to explain, but I only had 1 minute.
thus defying the laws of physics.
We're
A
gonna
lot of
keep it-
assumptions in there,
that is
buddy.
the laws of
A
physics.
lot of assumptions
that
in there,
is
buddy.
physics.
At 1 minute. So
So
No, it's not. Just because you say that doesn't
that
make it
was
true.
physics. My
There's no
degree in
proof.
physics disagrees
There's
with
no
you.
proof at all that a human would be able to go through what you're saying and have no effect. Because
We've
hell
done
no.
it. We've actually done it. So
Alright, so
Oh, really?
sorry,
Oh,
FTF,
really?
yeah, I gotta be.
Here
Oh,
goes
really?
with the we,
Really?
the we, like he was part of it.
Also, yeah, let's not do
Go ahead,
that.
Dustin.
Guy, come on.
All right,
man.
go ahead, Dustin. Yeah, let's not do that though, Ross, please.
I heard a fun word called vacuum that brought me to this. You can't actually have space because it's a lie. And if you had a space without a bubble shielding our atmosphere, it would float off into space.
You can't have a vacuum without a container either.
You did this to yourself, Ozian. You gave him the alley oop. You did.
Yeah, I can-
alley-oop.
I can go
Yeah,
anywhere
you-
with it now.
I just
It's-
don't need a screen share to show me a friggin' vacuum container. You can just talk.
It's a debate. I want to explain it to all of the people who are
You've
seeing
been
how
screen
this,
sharing
full of
too,
it
this
you
is
though.
a
are.
straw man.
You
You
screen
do
shared.
understand how this is a straw man, right?
No, it's
Definitely
not a
not.
straw
He
man.
said
This is called the
Okay.
science.
No, this
He
is a
said,
straw
no,
man. This
no,
is a straw man of
He
our
said
claim.
it wouldn't affect them because of the vacuum. So he's saying we don't believe in a vacuum. This is why. So that vacuum
15
excuse is out the door. It's not a straw man. He's
But
Actually,
what you've
the
got on the
argument-
screen, what you've got on the screen is a straw man of our claim.
No,
No, it's
an-
not.
it's an infinite
Yes.
space vacuum
No, because
without
that's a
a
straw man of our
shield
claim.
with
That's a straw
pressurized
man of our
gases
claim.
inside.
Yeah, that's
You
a straw man of
said
our claim.
How so?
vacuum.
We'll give
Right,
Dustin.
okay,
we're gonna
right,
give
he-
Dustin
he's
the
asked-
last
he-
15 seconds here to finish this.
Dustin
before we
asked
get
me
this
how
up to-
Dustin asked
Then-
me how it's a straw man.
15
so
seconds,
it could
Craig.
play
15
with-
seconds. Let him go.
Then let me
Dustin
explain.
just asked me a question.
Then let me finish my 15 seconds, and then you can
Right,
you can
okay.
respond. First of all, explain how it's a straw man, and secondly, show me anywhere where you can have a gas pressure or vacuum without a container or barrier, like the firmament, which God says we have.
Yeah, so we don't have gas pressure next to a vacuum. That is a straw man of the claim. We simply have a pressure gradient going from 14.7 psi up to very, very close to zero. That pressure gradient is that's it. All of the pressure in the universe is contained within the universe. Gravity creates that pressure gradient. It's as simple as that. We don't
Fuck you. This is the thing. We were talking about this on Flatzoids today. Okay? Gas doesn't have a weight unless it's in a contained volume. Okay? There's no cohesion. The molecules of a gas are not bonded to one another. They just keep going. They give way to dissipation. Okay? So that's a load of horse shit. Gravity pulling on air. You would have to actually tell me and show me air having a downward acceleration due to gravity. And I can show you it not having that because temperature is going to play a role. Mixture of which gases in the atmosphere are there. There's a host of different factors involved. Gravity has not one of them. Oh, you're going to play this game?
say that space is a vacuum. Space is a very low pressure area. What you just did was strawman the globe claim. Plus, you ignored the things that I said about thermal transfer in a region devoid of matter. So thank you for ignoring what I said.
Right. Thus,
So,
by the way,
Can I respond?
Yeah, no, I just want to say this real quick. By the way, after Craig's response, you know what should have been said? Thus defying the laws of physics.
He's right too. And Bill also, now the moon, they say is different than the -17. They say that's a 10 to the -11. But nevertheless, man, does it fucking matter at one point or another? I mean, for crying out loud, we already know what happens with very minimal pressure differentials. We know what can occur. So this is fucking horseshit. It's what it is. Man, this some dank shit, bro. Whew. Holy cow. I don't even know what it's called, but I like it.
Let's
No,
just
no laws of
let's
physics.
just let's roast him real quick.
No laws of
I need
physics.
20
A 5-year-old
seconds.
can get this.
Can I
That
have 20
defies the
No
seconds?
laws
laws of physics
what
were
you said.
denied.
All right, go ahead.
No laws of physics were denied. You are lying.
Okay.
No laws of physics were
So,
denied.
Dusty's turn.
and as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I need about 30 seconds here.
30 seconds.
This is in essence saying because there's different levels of nothing in between our gases and the vacuum of space in which you've claimed there is nothing before because nothing was there to exchange the heat and roast everyone inside of the aluminum can. So, there was nothing there before, but now there's something there. in order to hold in the gases, which are obviously would just blow off into space at the speeds that we're going, which are full of 666s, by the way, all these miles per hour and et cetera.
666s.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. There's not one single.
By the way, I'm not on the religious side. I just want to say
find
that
out?
for the record. Like, I'm also with Ozian. I don't want to make this a religious conversation. I just want to talk about history. Is it true or is it not true? Because most of history is a lie.
Go ahead and answer. Go ahead and answer that, and then I'm going to show you the 666.
Yeah.
So vacuum's not empty though. Vacuum, it has energy and radiation fields. It has
in response to what he said specifically, though, gravity is what is causing the pressure gradient. So we know that gravity exists.
No, gravity cannot cause a pressure gradient because gas doesn't have a weight, Craig. The only way gases can have a weight is if they're contained, Craig. You have to have a volume of gas, and the only way to have a volume of gas is to have it contained. And that's the only time gas can have a weight. So it takes us right back to the original question. How'd they get through the fucking container, Craig?
An empirical verified thing, but it isn't. It
That is
100%
patently false.
It's not right. This is
patently false.
This is a different conversation.
Patently false.
This is a
Well,
different
don't invoke
conversation.
that then.
This is a
I'm gonna have
different
to flame
conversation.
you on that.
Their time, Ross.
We'll get there.
I have
I have
personally
beat so many
measured
people in-
gravity.
It is
This
their
is why
time.
we can't get that.
Personally,
That's why
measured
we can't have a
gravity.
debate right there.
I
the Ross
have
guy.
personally
Whatever it is.
measured gravity. It is an empirically verified fact of reality. And to ignore gravity is also to strawman what we are saying. So your whole nonsense there about
To ignore something that's only a theory that's never been proven, when I just easily showed you that your gradient cannot be due to gravity. And there's the main reason why, because gas doesn't have a weight unless it's in a contained volume. Are you admitting that it's in a container? Gravity can't be the container. We just established that. Otherwise, it would all be down on the ground. Get the fuck on with this.
how gas next to a vacuum is a straw man. Gravity is the answer. If you want to see another example,
When they say, Barbara, when they say, oh, I've personally measured gravity, you measured how fast something fell. Big freaking deal, bro. Right? God.
of a gas contained by gravity, Saturn, Jupiter. There you go. Done.
Those
You said to ignore gravity is a straw man. How does that
No.
make sense? To ignore gravity is a straw man of our position. Do you know
It
what
is.
words mean?
You
Our
still
position
need
contains
you
gravity,
still
so it's a
need
straw
a
man.
physical barrier because
No, you don't. Gravity.
Yes, you do. No,
No,
you
you
don't.
don't. Gravity.
Gravity is debunked. However, you
No,
do
it's
not.
100
Yes,
times over.
Absolutely.
100
you can
times
debunk
over.
gravity.
No,
100
gravity is
times
coherent.
over.
You
Why
do
do you need
not
a
even
physical
want it
barrier?
Give them 45
associated with his
seconds.
name
We'll give them 45
Why do you
seconds.
need a physical barrier? Why do you need a physical barrier? Why?
because you absolutely need a physical barrier or a seal to create a vacuum every single time. Prove
It's
otherwise.
in the definition
There-
of gas
but-
pressure.
Okay,
The
space
definition of
isn't
gas
a
pressure has
vacuum.
barrier
All right,
in the
Ross.
name.
He just
No,
asked him a
the
question.
definition of gas pressure does not.
The fact that you have gas in a volume, okay? Gas being in a volume puts it in a state of disequilibrium. The only way to get gas into a volume is through a container, thereby putting it in a state of disequilibrium, which causes pressure.
Not have barrier in the name, Ross, but I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Dustin. So no, there's no physical barrier needed for
Yes, there
a
is.
pressure gradient to exist.
Oh,
There
yes, there
is no, there's no physical barrier for a pressure gradient to exist.
There
Please
has
show me the physical barrier between the summit and the base of Everest, which has a greater pressure differential than the summit of Everest and space.
Well, he's saying it.
What is the composition of the atmos at the top of Everest as compared to the ground? Is it the exact same composition of air? Is it the exact same composition of gases in the exact same ratios? No, it's not. It's not. Okay, so of course it's going to be less. Dalton's law.
It's the container.
There's
That's what's in question.
there's a
That's what's
barrier
in question.
in place. There's a firmament,
Right,
a
he's
barrier that
saying-
holds our atmosphere in place.
That's what we're
And
debating.
No, there's not. I checked with radar.
you're
There's no
you're
firmament.
imagining space and claiming that we can go there and saying that our air cannot go there because there's a thing you call gravity, which Newton, by the
Well-
way, laughed at and
Okay.
did not even want to
No, he
associate with
didn't
his
laugh
name.
All right, let's
No,
let's
he's
let Ozzy
asking
go,
you.
guys.
He did.
Why is
Guys,
Yes,
let's
he
let
did.
Ozzy-
Justin?
let's let
No,
Ozzy
you
go.
Justin.
didn't. You're wrong.
You guys
Where's
don't know
the-
your history.
No.
This is why I love this conversation. You don't know your
Yeah,
history.
Guys, we're giving
Maybe you read
Ozzy on the
science,
floor.
but you-
Come on just 1 second. He's trying to get
Ross, get less triggered, dude.
We've been letting you three kind of stew off each other for a bit. Ozian's got a thought, so let's let him in here. Hopefully you didn't lose it.
No,
Ozian?
I know exactly.
I think Ozian's actually, and this is really something to say. I think Ozian's probably shown the most patience of everybody so far. Not that it's been great, but these guys, Ross needs to settle down, man. Stop with that interrupting shit. Dustin needs to get off. Only go with what you can prove. And my God, man, you're softballing these guys, man. I like you guys, but you're softballing them, bro. You gotta really get in there and fucking play hard. Nail them down on the shit. Get them with that gas behavior. They can't fuck with that, man.
What I want to say. Where's the why is there a pressure gradient, Dustin?
You're the one trying to say there's a pressure gradient. I'm not.
There is a
It's
pressure gradient. This is the fact.
measurable.
There is no pressure gradient because there is no vacuum without a seal.
Are you saying, wait,
You're saying it's 14.7 psi from the
No, I'm saying
surface of the Earth. Wait, let me finish the question. Are you saying it's 14.7 psi at the surface of the Earth to the top of Mount Everest? That people that go to the top of Mount Everest don't need like oxygen masks and stuff like that, and
there's no
or
pressure
don't
gradient.
they're saying there's not low pressure compared to the bottom of Mount Everest? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
you
Dustin?
can trap different gases in a jar and they'll sink to heaviest, densest, lowest, and lightest, highest, but they're still in a jar. Ozian.
Is there a pressure gradient from the bottom of Mount Everest to the top of Mount Everest?
No, there's a
And it's not
density of heavier gases sinking.
No, there's not.
What's a
because
pressure
the
gradient?
gases are the same.
No.
Is there a
Oh my
change
God.
in the pressure?
Heavier
Can you
gases
take a
sink.
barometer?
I
Can
think
you
you guys
take
are
a
saying the same thing.
barometer? Can you
Different
take a
gases
barometer
are
and
different
measure?
Ozian.
pressures.
Ozian,
Wait.
he's saying
Listen,
that
I guess.
he's saying that there's heavier gases
know.
that are sinking, but there's not. The
know.
mixture of
Yes,
gases
there is.
the same regardless of the mixture of gases. The actual combination of gases is the same regardless
fact.
of the.
No, it's not. The combination can be the same, but if the ratio is changed, it's the combined pressure of all those gases together. Again, gas having no weight of its own unless it's within a contained environment. Okay? This is just how it is. This is just how it is.
Of the altitude. The only thing
No,
that's
it's not.
different.
Is that a
the only
And are some molecules of gas have a different density ratio? I believe so. Yes.
difference. The only
Because in a contained environment, certain gases weigh, like you put a certain amount in the same volume of different gases, you're going to get a different reading. That hexafluoride shit is very dense. So what's he fucking talking about?
difference is the pressure of those gases. You go up to 100 feet, there is still the same amount of oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide percentage-wise as
Not
there is
true.
at sea level. Yes,
Every-
it is true.
Every kid with little balloons that flow up out of their hands and they lose it understand this.
That's
Absolutely
buoyancy,
not.
a result
Pressure-
of gravity.
Buoyancy and density are how gases work, and that is explained with a vacuum and in a jar.
Buoyancy is a result
There
of
is no
gravity.
such thing as space without a vacuum.
And a pressure gradient, and the balloon only goes up so far once it
Hits the firmament.
No, it doesn't hit the firmament, just Dustin. It doesn't. It finds equilibrium or it'll break. One of the two, but it will find equilibrium. Okay. That's what it's doing. It's not going to go up and hit the dome. It's got too much to it. It's going to seek equilibrium because the gas is also taking into account the balloon itself. So this is why a weather balloon, it doesn't go up and stop because it hit the dome. It stopped because the ratio found equilibrium. That's all.
no, no. Usually, what happens, aluminum, the balloon expands too much and pops. Before they're not strong enough. Little balloons kids make can't go to space, dude. Like I don't know
He's
what you're
not saying
talking
they go to
about.
We're
space.
talking about
Yeah,
gases.
we
bro.
don't believe that space is there.
So you think you can fly because the balloons can't go up as high as airplanes fly? Do you like little kids' balloons can't go up that high? You think so? You can
I think,
fly up to the firmament, Dustin?
Can I
guess?
please share my? Can I please
think
share
this
my screen
conversation
1
is-
second?
I think this
Is
is
it okay?
I
Is it
think-
okay if I share my screen a second? Is
I
that
don't think
right?
you have too
Yeah.
much, so go
Can
for it.
can we get back to seeing some proof that
So
they
I
went and walked
really
on the
quick.
moon? I haven't seen one piece of proof that they walked on the moon.
Oh, I showed
Right.
tons of.
They've been on the
pictures.
not a
defensive
movie,
since the beginning.
not a movie. Yeah, not a
So,
movie. I don't want to see a movie.
I'm sharing
Alright.
my screen.
We're
If
gonna
I
give you
could
a-
just share my screen for a second, if that's okay.
We'll give you a
right?
minute.
Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen. Right. This is Mr. Sensible's Mage 2 project, right? Which goes up to space and oh look, this is just the right point actually, because right
like
here,
Mr. Sensible.
right, what you see if you're looking up at the balloon on the
Oh,
left
snap.
is
What
how
is
it
that?
pops, right? oh look, where was the firmament that it hit? I just want to play that again, just so we can double check that if there was a firmament that it hit there. If everyone could just look for me and just check for the firmament whilst we're playing that.
It's the same place dark matter is.
So firmament, right? Anyone see the firmament there?
It's not visible to the human light
Would you like to?
Just like dark matter.
Oh right. Oh wait, hold on. Let me just check again.
That's all you have to
Let me
say.
just
That's
check-
all you guys do.
I can show you the
Let me
firmament.
see it,
Again.
and it's-
All right, so just real quick, I want to show you and bring this up just real quick, so if you can kind of understand it. So over on the overall right here, we have what it is here at sea level, approximately. Okay, it's not constant like a fucking layer cake or something. It fluctuates. Okay, but what Dalton's law says is that this 14.7 or 0.69 psi is a combination of all of these varying pressures together. Okay, so of oxygen, you've got 3.03 psi, and so on and so on and so on. Now, there's going to be a higher concentration of this at the ground. Why? Why is there a higher concentration of this near the ground? Maybe that's because that's where they're produced. You know, I'm just taking a fucking shot in the dark there, right? Yeah, of course, that's where they're produced at. And so it stands to reason that through dissipation, this is going to be less and less as it gets up further from the ground. And that this ratio right here is going to change, thereby changing this end result, or this end result right here. We're going to be changing these as we go higher, which is going to, of course, change this. It's not real hard. Once you understand this concept, now you can probably put it together in your own mind. I mean, it's not really that difficult. Thing is, they try to make it sound difficult so that you shy away from it. Oh, fuck, it's like school. I don't want to go back to that goddamn place again. Fuck, you know.
All right, go on then. Point out exactly here in this video where the firmament is.
I'm not going to show it with your video, but I have videos I can show it to you.
But this is
Shouldn't
in
it be
space.
there?
Yeah. You said that it goes up until the balloon touches.
Well, but
the
not
firmament.
necessarily.
What we're
There's a lot of
watching. Oh,
variables.
there we go. At exactly 21 minutes in this video.
It could have been higher.
balloon
It could have
pops.
been. There's a chance it was higher than that.
Why
Oh,
did
well,
it
actually,
pop?
Yeah, this is
Why
at
did it pop?
36,000 meters.
Dustin, why did it pop?
I have other images if you'd like. Obviously, that's a
Dustin.
fisheye lens.
Because the gas was expanded beyond the capacity of the balloon. That's why. In its effort to seek equilibrium, the capacity went beyond the ability of the balloon to hold it. I mean, that's what the fuck? Why did the balloon pop? Duh.
Lens.
Dustin,
Not
why
the one
did
in
the
the
balloon
middle
pop?
isn't no. The one in the top left and the top right are, but the one in the middle is not fisheye, and you still see the curve of the earth with that. Which
I
is
still-
amazing.
You
By
do
the
not
way,
see
I-
the curve of the earth.
no,
Stop
no.
lying to the people.
Yeah,
By the
but
way, I
anyway,
still
my
wanna
point
get
is,
to
my
666
point,
there.
Nobody saw the curve of the earth.
my point is,
That
there
should look
is
just like this.
my point is,
By the way,
my point is that there was no firmament because there is no firmament, and if you want to see the curve of the earth, that is very, very easy because that video shows the curve of the earth.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Now he's
why did the
No,
balloon
they
pop?
always use fisheye lenses.
You want-
Secondly,
No,
I
the
would
one-
like
again,
to.
the one in the
Oh,
middle
you
didn't
fell
have a
for
fisheye
it.
lens.
God damn it, Dustin! You fell for it. I would have just said, "Yeah, I'm sure that has nothing to do with the lens," and just gone on. Because everybody knows that a tired old argument Craig just wants to eat up time talking about fucking lenses.
Do I get a time to talk?
Let's give you.
Yeah, but
I'll
don't
give you
don't lie. The one in the
I
middle
just want
wasn't
to
the fisheye
remind
lens.
the audience, no proof of the moon landing yet. Continue. I'm
We
enjoying this
gave proof of the
conversation.
moon landing at the start.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
No,
Just
you gave
one second, guys.
historical
We
witnesses
should get
of
to
liars.
Q&A here soon. So I will give you another. We'll do 45 on both sides here.
I haven't gotten one yet here. They've been talking a while.
I yield my whole time.
First of all, if you the Earth is allegedly tilted at 23.4 degrees off of the center of a 90-degree angle. If you subtract, that's 66.6. And there's other examples as well.
It's actually 20. It's actually 24.3.
Holy,
It's not.
holy.
It's not what you said.
We still got
What?
30 seconds.
That motherfucking lesbian can't shut the fuck up, man. I swear to God. Every time he's got to blow his face. He can't just let the guy finish it. What he's saying. He's like Judge Judy with a British accent, man.
Sorry.
Over here.
Anyway, in essence, you guys are just going back and forth here, but fisheye lenses always show the curve. In fact, Mythbusters got busted trying to fake with a fisheye lens, and if you go watch their video, they got caught because the ground level was as round as at the height of their flight, because they were using a fisheye lens, and that's what it does. I've been up in dozens of aircraft myself, and I've seen it always flat. It rises to the horizon. But in essence, all they have is fisheye lens, and that's why you always see a curve in their nonsense at ground level as well as flight.
How did we devolve into this?
Just want to point out, this is not a fisheye lens.
Can I share a screen? Because he said he made a claim about the axial tilt of the Earth.
It's a fucking wide angle lens, okay? Wide angle lenses have a curve to them for a wider field of view, okay? Anything above, beyond, or below center is going to be distorted. The more curvature that the lens has, the more this optical effect is going to be apparent. Anybody that's ever had a peephole thing in your door can understand what that kind of a lens that gives you this little pinhole so you can see this wide view of the entire hallway if you live in an apartment, or your entire porch, right? And you see the person, and as soon as they get close like that, their face starts morphing and turning into a ball and shit. The further back they get, it's the same effect, man. It's the same effect.
Earth, he's wrong. It's 23.5.
Yeah, if you guys want to keep going, like, we can give it another, like, say 10 minutes before we go to Q&A.
So it is 23.5 degrees, not 23 point whatever you said. So that's a lie. So you're rounding off. This is flat Earth rounding, I guess.
Not according to NASA.
Well, according to NASA, it's 23.3 actually. So.
Oh, okay.
According to NASA, it can be whatever fits the story. You know, they've done this with everything. Distance and size of the moon, the distance and size of the sun. It started out at 3 million miles, went up as much as 103 million miles, and then dropped back to 98 million miles. And this is several different, I mean, not even in the ballpark with each other.
Then they've changed it because 23.4 is what they wrote on.
They've never said that.
Okay, let me show you on climate.nasa.gov. If you don't mind.
I don't know if I ever got a chance to
Here's
ask.
National Geographic Society 23.5.
Can I? And NASA's own website, if you guys trust them. I don't personally.
Well, we're giving the floor to Ozian right now, so he's
so
like I said, we're going to get
either way, you're
here.
wrong. So
Am
you're
I?
just cherry picking a point. Yes, there's no
your source, bro.
And that's still not. No, that's not.
And it has nothing to do. What the fuck is wrong with this moderator? I thought this was about whether or not we went to the moon. This is ridiculous at this point.
My source.
It's your source, NASA.
20 seconds.
Now, I have NASA.gov saying 23.4 right now.
20 seconds.
It was not my source. You didn't understand my argument. That's not my problem.
You're lying about numbers.
Now you're calling me a liar again. This is
you just lied.
All right. Okay, can
No,
I ask Ozian a question?
All right,
It said 23.5.
I have a question. One last question.
23.5. I did not lie.
NASA
Justin.
says 23.4.
All right,
All right,
before
one
we get
question,
focused
please.
on all that and go down this rabbit hole here, go ahead, Ross.
All right, Ozian, I have a question. All right, so
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken,
No, they got sidetracked off into the fucking numbers on the tilt of the earth. It has no relevancy outside of the biblical aspect, I think, to whether or not the moon landing was fake. This is what they're supposed to be discussing. They like to get off on these little side tangents, and I hate that. But that's all right. We'll see.
the moon is moving like what is it, 2,000 miles per hour, 6,000 miles per hour? I don't know. The Earth is moving like what, 35,000 miles per hour, something like that. Okay, so I want to know, right? In your guys' opinion, how did that flimsy machine that you showed us catch up?
Me and Franz are going to go down there and kick somebody's ass. That's what's going to. No, I'm just kidding. Me and Franz go take care of some business, baby.
To a rock that is moving 2,000 miles per hour, and then when they came back, like I said, I don't even want to bring up the footage because that looks fake. When they came back, the Earth is moving however fast you guys say it's moving. How in the hell they navigate from a rock that's moving to however, and then make it to another rock that's moving 35,000 miles? My numbers are probably wrong, so go ahead, Ozzy, and correct me. But whatever the numbers are, right? How is it possible that they in that ship that you showed us made it to a rock that's moving 35,000 miles an hour, or however
Relative
fast you
motion.
guys say it's moving? Huh?
Laws of motion, dude. Laws
Yeah.
of motion.
You're gonna have to break that down for me. What does
You
that mean, laws
maintain
of
your.
motion?
Okay, so if you throw a ball,
Yes.
if you throw a ball, it maintains its momentum until it's acted upon by equal or opposite force.
Are there
In
forces
our
in space?
view, let me finish. In our view, when we launch a rocket to space, right, the forces acting upon the rocket aren't going to be the friction of the atmosphere, because there's no, as far as we're concerned, there's no matter between the Earth and the moon. Okay, so there's nothing obstructing it to offer any type of friction. We're going to have to overcome some type of gravitational forces and stuff.
But how
like
did they
that.
pick up the speed on the way back?
So we maintain our momentum with the Earth. So the Earth is, so we maintain
No, from the moon. No, the
we
moon.
maintain
When they
the moon is moving with the Earth. We maintain the momentum with the moon when we leave the moon. So we don't.
Well, once you're out of the framework of the moon and the Earth, okay, that moon is actually having to go faster than the Earth and then slow up and then go behind it and then start speeding up again so it can get back around it as it's traveling at 67,000 miles an hour. Now, getting on the side of where the sun's at, you've also got, I guess, more pull from the sun because of that gravity, which is going to probably throw it onto an ellipse. But let's think about this from this standpoint. Let's say we have a great big huge oval track and the car's got to go around. This thing's banked. It's banked up there at about 45 degrees to an angle to where the car has to maintain a certain speed in order to stay away from drifting into the middle of this track. So let's say 120 miles an hour this car is going, right? Now we got to have another guy come out there and ride a motorcycle around that car while it's traveling down that track. Do circles around that car while it's going around that track. Come on, man. I mean, that's just kind of an example. I understand. Even if you spread it out, it's even worse. Because now, if your center of rotation is here, the Earth, and the moon is going around that center of rotation, the further you put that away, the faster those differentials in speed are going to have to be. So this is some crazy shit. And to say, oh, well, it just stays right there so we can just keep going, right? Get the fuck out of here.
Don't lose any of those speeds
I have a
when we
question.
leave the moon. Well, the only thing we have to do is to make adjustments to make the minimal amount of changes to get from the differences from the moon to the Earth. And
Question.
Craig could probably explain it a lot better.
Yeah.
than I
What they actually did.
Let me respond to what he said.
explanation.
Let me respond to what he said, though. I just want to clarify, because the Earth is moving from whatever spot it's in. So once they leave the moon's orbit, the Earth is still speeding through space, right?
It's very simple.
What?
They're
Right.
This
both
defies the
moving.
laws of
What they
physics,
did,
what you're
what they
saying. I'm
did,
next. Let's
right,
just
Ross,
make those.
what they did was when they left the Earth, right? Again, the Earth and the Moon are moving together, but the Moon's obviously orbiting the Earth. When they left the Earth, they aimed for the point, and get this, where the Moon was going to be. And then when they left the Moon to come back to the Earth, they aimed for the point where the Earth was going to be,
But
based on the orbit.
But they weren't moving fast enough coming back. That's what I'm saying. They weren't moving.
Again, right, the Earth and the Moon are moving together. So when the rocket leaves the Moon, it's still going that speed. It doesn't stop going that speed. So
How fast is the Moon moving? Hold on. I'm sorry.
The Moon is moving the same speed as the Earth.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're moving together.
Okay.
And then you've obviously got the Earth's orbit.
Can't
which is
be.
why all they had to do was aim for the point where the Moon was going to be, and then coming back, aim for the point where the Earth was going to be. It's called orbital mechanics.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's
It's called Disneyland fucking fantasy is what it's called. There's no fucking way. Because that is it, I pointed out, it's going to be changing speeds all the time. Not necessarily relative to the Earth, but if you're an independent object between the Earth and that, not connected to either one anymore, that's going to change because now you're coming from the outside of a thing of rotation, which was going much, much faster than the inside, which means that you're going to have to change your lateral movement as you head toward the Earth. Same thing as an airplane trying to fly north from the equator. That runway is continuously moving west. You're moving west with your when you take off at the equator, but that speed decreases exponentially as you get toward the center of rotation. So you're constantly having to adjust for that. And I said exponentially because it does change a shitload. You can take, and how far is that at orbit? 2,000 or was it 250,000 miles? What, 37,000 miles? What is it? 237,000 miles, right? Or 238. Okay, so let's just say that that's the line, that's the radius of the orbit. Let's just say that that's the radius of the orbit. Do you know what that speed is going to be? I mean, if we're going 1,000 miles an hour at our equator, just think about the speed that that's going out there. So now you're an independent object in between these two things, no longer connected to it, trying to travel back to the hub of rotation. If you believe it, I mean, that's fine, but no.
There's no assumptions involved in that, right? Let's see. What's harder to assume, that they did that crazy shit he just said, or that they made a movie? It's easier to assume that they made a damn movie. Which one requires the least assumptions?
No,
I'll take the movie for 300, Alex.
There's no assumptions there.
There's no assumptions.
No
all
assumptions.
The assumptions. No, because so when we do mathematical equations, we don't reinvent the wheel every time.
20 seconds.
When we calculate these motions, but we have explanation for all these celestial motions. There's no assumptions in the model.
Explanations don't make sense to us, Ozian.
There are assumptions in the model. There's assumptions in the model right straight up from your assumption of the astronomical unit. So don't tell me there's no assumptions. Even Michio Kaku said that they're off by factors of 10 to the 20th, man. Like zillions of fucking times. I mean, where else can you have that kind of margin of error for shit other than Fantasyland?
I didn't say I don't understand them. No, I understand them. I'm saying they don't make sense. Two different things. They don't fit the outcome. My bad, Dustin. I yield to Dustin.
You're good. First, I do have questions about what you guys are saying here. I mean, I've got a couple of questions, many questions. First of all, though, do you guys claim there is something in space or not? Because you keep flip-flopping. When it comes to heat exchange, nothing is there. But when it comes to gas pressure gradients, apparently without a vacuum or seal, you believe that there is something there. So what's going on with that?
Let me clarify for you.
Go ahead.
Space is not a vacuum. Space is an extremely low pressure area with very, 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 very little amounts of matter. Okay, very little amounts of matter. Like when you're in a space in between the Earth and the Moon, there's probably one hydrogen atom every 5 cubic meters.
1 hydrogen atom per cubic meter was the estimate that I remember. They may have changed it. When you're dealing with fantasy, then by all means. So wait a minute. You mean this? He's about to explain something that the fact that these hydrogen atoms are so far apart from one another, and dispersed, that the pressure is less. You mean like when you increase altitude? Huh?
All right. So space, as we are told, is not an absolute vacuum. It is a extreme low pressure area.
But there is pressure, so therefore 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit would still
Not
impact.
enough, though. No, there's not enough to do that.
All right.
Like, again, as I said,
Fine.
roughly
Fine.
one hydrogen one hydrogen atom every 5 cubic meters.
Well, does those hydrogen atoms each have their own gravity? So much so that they can attract one another over a distance of 5 cubic meters and then assemble themselves into a large enough object where its pressure will cave in on itself and cause nuclear fusion? See, you can't have it both ways.
That is not enough to transfer thermal energy.
Okay, so here's another. Go ahead.
A vacuum. Don't you agree? A vacuum works very good as a thermal insulator, right? Like you've used thermoses, right?
Yeah, it depends on your insulation, but
you do agree, just
no. If you put an air bubble of warm air outside in cold weather, it's gone.
Yeah, look, no, you're not going to be telling me that gas is going to act as an insulator. All right.
Just a normal a vacuum thermos. You agree vacuum thermoses work very well to insulate your coffee.
They're insulated and they're sealed, and panels are not unadjusted with one another.
But you do agree a vacuum thermos works better than a non-vacuum thermos
because it has a vacuum seal.
Yes.
Yes.
So
you got it, Ozian.
So it's not a pure vacuum in there. It's a low pressure, very low pressure environment in the cup. So that's all we're describing.
Which requires containment. I said you can't get out of this.
It's actually a lower pressure in space than it is in the cup. So there's less options for heat to convect and conduct through the space. There's no way for the heat. The way heat transfers is through infrared, through radiation, through stuff like that. It doesn't transfer.
Infrared travels at the speed of light.
Yes, it is. It's EMF.
Sorry about that.
So there's another one, but I mean, so I don't agree with any of that. I think it sounds like nonsense to me. But if you go to Google Images, if you go to Images and pull up photos of the Earth on Google Images, without any exception, they're all CGI or paintings.
That is an
clearly
unsubstantiated
Photoshopped.
claim. It's just a lie. That's not the truth.
Unsubstantiated.
Okay, then I will substantiate it if you like. Here we go.
I will bet.
Watch, you guys. I think he's going into labor. He might be going into labor.
Bring up a real one. You bring up a real one. You unsubstantiated by bringing up a real one.
Which of these are real?
All right.
Right now, I will bet you £5,000 that if you go to Google and search for photos of Earth, they are not all CGI or photos.
Really?
I'll take that bet.
Hey, I will bet you £5,000. I will bet you £5,000.
I don't need to bet money.
I'll take the bet.
Ross, I'm still talking.
We heard it.
I'm still talking. I will bet you £5,000.
I want my $5,000.
I will bet you £5,000 that one of the pictures came from a Hasselblad camera.
No, that's just more fake stuff that has no star showing or any of that stuff. So you're basically just trying to use the fake images from NASA to say that it's real. And all of that stuff is fake. They have, here's an example. They give you
fake.
Okay, here's which one of these is real. They're all official.
All of them are real.
Yeah, all of them are real.
Yeah, really?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you want to bet too, Ozian? Do you want to get in on his action?
Right.
I'm taking all the action on this bet.
Let me
Who wants to bet these are real?
Ross, calm down.
Tonight.
Ross, calm down. Ross, calm down.
I don't bet.
Right, Dustin, all of them are real, and all of them are taken. Ross, calm down. Dustin, all of them are real, and all of them are taken by different cameras for different reasons. Simple. You don't look exactly the same in every picture of you that's ever taken.
They cannot all be.
Yeah, but I don't come out as a black guy one time and then as an Oriental guy another time, or as a Mexican guy another time. I mean, look, that's pretty fucking drastic. Those are some pretty drastic differences. It's 2007. What happened here? That was a dry year, apparently, as opposed to 20 years before, or 10 years before, rather. It was very lush and green that day. Started fading out a little bit there in 2002. And over here in 2015, shit, you can't even distinguish any. I mean, come on, man.
Real.
Why not?
Why?
I'm looking for the more close-up version, but they have drastically
I'm
different sizes of
dude.
continents, for example.
Okay, right. Let me screen
Also,
share for
they
a
say
second then.
sex. They say sex in the clouds in a number of them.
No, they don't say sex.
Yes,
in the clouds.
yes,
That's
they
called
do.
pareidolia.
Yes, they do. No, it's
I
in the
want my
clouds.
5 grand.
It's quite
Right.
clear.
Okay. So let me just respond quickly to that. The different sized continents. I
stop
want to show
sharing? I
you
can
some
show-
crazy magic.
I can show.
Oh, I am gonna hold showing his balls on the TV. That's fucked up, bro.
Right here. Look, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. The continent's getting
Here we
bigger.
go. Yeah. So
the
if you-
marbles were
yeah.
the same size, but the continents were different.
Right.
Sizes.
Why would the
Right,
marbles
here we
be the
go.
same size
Right.
though?
Everyone, be
Perspective.
quiet for 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Right.
Why were they all different colors, man? Why was the ocean drastically changing color? I mean, come on, y'all.
Dustin, I would like you to look at my screen. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Not really.
We see it. We see it.
Right.
I see it's tiny.
Well, click on it and make it larger.
Okay.
Right. You see that what's there, okay? Right? You see the 2 globes, okay?
I see
Here's
two
the thing.
fake globes.
That is 1 globe. That's not 2 globes. That is 1 globe taken by a friend of mine, Tommy Gronville. It's his globe in his front room. And the only thing there that's different is the camera distance and the lens on the camera. So my question to you is, where did the rest of the Earth go on the left picture?
Is that to him? Or was it to me? Because I
So first of all, if the globe is the same size, then the continents should be the same size.
But it is the same globe. It's exactly the same globe.
he's saying it's a different lens.
So again, I want you to
It's
tell
a
me
different lens.
where the rest of the globe went on the
No,
left.
I can do it right now, Craig. Let me do it right now. I got a globe right here. I got a camera right here.
All right.
Yeah, go on.
If you're gonna do
You
something
guys
on
wanna
screen, I gotta
experiment?
make it
Yeah.
bigger. Hold on.
No, I'll share a screen if you want me to. Like,
If you just
Okay.
share your like a virtual cam or something.
oh, I can't.
I just want to know. I just want to know
wire
if that
up.
was a gentleman's bet.
I don't
It
know how
looks-
to do that.
It
But
looks
anyway, this
kind of blurry.
this responds to what he's saying about the different
Sure.
size continents. It's just an effect of where the camera is in relation to taking the picture. A closer satellite that's orbiting the Earth will get a picture more like the left. A satellite that's further away from the Earth will get a picture like the right. Simple.
That doesn't make any sense.
I have a
Makes
question for
perfect
Craig.
sense.
I have a question
It
for
doesn't make
Craig.
any sense because
Makes
it would be
perfect sense.
obviously the ball would be bigger as you get closer.
So what are you saying, that this is a fake picture I'm showing you? Because
No,
it's
it's
actually taken
different.
by someone that I know personally.
I don't know.
Nope, he's using a different focal length. That's all. That's all. Yeah,
the lie,
you can do this yourself at home.
but yes, it may well be.
Look,
It's not,
Dustin,
though.
you see my globe right here?
I can
You see
respond
my
to this.
globe? You see my globe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see South Africa, right? Or South America, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as I get closer, and
It's filling up more of the screen.
Yeah, but the ball's appearing bigger too. And all of those photographs, those globes are the same size. So what are we doing?
Screen though.
And now it's
still
doubled.
more than
It's
screen.
So
doubled
just
in
crop it.
perspective size. That must
Yes,
be what
yeah,
you
you
did.
can-
Was you just
you can
cropped it, right?
still-
Right.
Well,
can
of course you
still
have to
see-
crop it. All pictures are cropped.
You can still see both sides of the
I-
globe, but it's
okay.
taking up more of the globe.
So first
So
of
as they
all,
go away,
here's what
can
you
see
did.
More. Look. You can see more ocean on both sides as it goes further
No.
away.
Here's what you
Yes,
did.
you watch carefully.
Bigger though, Ozzy.
Watch
Here's what you did.
carefully.
Watch mine.
Watch carefully. Watch carefully.
You're proving me right.
You
don't know what you're doing.
Smaller.
You're proving me right.
We're disproving you.
No,
Right
you're
now.
proving me right.
The ocean's getting smaller at both sides.
I don't. You don't understand it. You're proving me right.
In what way have we proved you right? Come on.
He just proved that the ball gets bigger. Like I said, I'm sharing an image right now that confirms it. I don't know if you guys can see it.
All those pictures
You
that
can
you show
shrink
are
the
cropped.
pictures down.
But then it would go back to the size. That's what he
Then
said. He took
the
it back
continent
down.
Well, it
would
wouldn't if you
shrink
crop
too.
it. It wouldn't go back to the size if you crop it. Oh my
Because
god!
that's cheating. That's Photoshop.
No, it's not Photoshop. Do you not know
If
what
you
Photoshop
crop the
is?
continent bigger on a ball that's
No, you're not cropping the
smaller on a
continent.
bigger
You're
ball,
cropping
then
the
that's
entire
cheating.
picture. You're not
It still
cropping the
wouldn't
continent.
change
You're
the
cropping
size.
the picture.
Look.
The image that I'm showing shows that I was correct, that the ball got twice the size when you got closer and said that it
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Okay, but then just crop the pictures to have the balls the same size, which is what you showed in your original picture.
What you're saying
a
is
bunch of balls cropped to be the same
No.
size.
That
Are you
is-
intentionally being dishonest? Are you
it doesn't-
intentionally being dishonest?
Doesn't make logical
No,
sense.
you're being stupid.
What? Oh, the good one. You're being stupid.
You're
Let's
being
Here's your
look down to the
2007.
shares for just
That
one
makes
second.
it true.
This one's important. This is
I can see him flipping shit and beating somebody with his walking stick. I guess he's supposed to get an amputation or something done. I don't know what's up with that. I know how he could lose 10 pounds of ugly fat real easy. Just cut his head off.
this is very important because it's the 2007 versus 2012, and it shows the continental differences. I mean,
Yeah,
I just
because they're different cameras taken from different sizes
no,
to the globe. It's simple.
the globe size is the exact same in proportion.
Yeah, because
in
they cropped
perspective.
it. Because they
No.
cropped it to be the same.
Here's what it looks
Nobody
like.
is that
Official
nobody can possibly
photos.
be that-
I'm gonna have to
that dumb.
recrop.
Nobody that dumb.
One,
You
one's
know.
closer to the earth.
Official
That's it.
photos.
Yeah,
It's
they are
closer
official
to the
photos, and
Earth.
one is closer to the Earth.
One
and
is
then
10
been
times
cropped.
the size of the other
Yeah.
continent.
And I just showed you how that can happen by showing you.
No,
it
you showed
on-
me something that doesn't make
No,
any
you
sense.
did not. No,
Some
you
sort
did
of
not.
optical illusion, but that was,
No, you
that
did
was some
not.
form of a
Oh,
lie.
right, how can this
And
And
not be
Ozian and Ozian proved you wrong.
How- no,
Bill, they absolutely they do. That's how they get the pollen to stick to them. That's how they get the pollen to stick to them. Kind of like getting your hand. You ever had those little styrofoam beans that they have in an old beanbag chair? You get your hand near them and they'll just like attract all to your hand. That's kind of the same thing they do. That's how they collect the pollen. They use that static electricity. So yeah, there is something to that. They generate, I think, that electricity through that harmonics that helps them fly. They're unique as hell, man. I wish they'd quit fucking killing them.
Oh, it's the same thing.
How can this not make sense?
Ozian just proved you wrong.
Guys, right, please, just give me 2 seconds. How is
Proof
what I'm
of
showing
the
you?
Earth is showing us a fake globe.
No
This is
more
proof.
screen
This
shares.
is not
Let's
fake.
come on now.
This is
Even
not
if you
fake.
crop them.
Right.
Can you, okay, let me
Right.
think. If you have a ball right next to your face, can you see both edges of the ball?
All right. No more screen
That doesn't
sharing.
even apply. That doesn't even apply here. He's screen sharing.
No, the globe is a ball. If you have a ball next to your face, can you see both edges of the ball?
The image
How
that I
far
shared
away
of
does a
Ozian
ball?
proves this.
How far away does a ball have to be from you to see both edges of the ball?
How far does a ball have to be before you realize that it
Apparently-
gets
apparently
smaller
from
the
mo-
further away it is?
And then you crop it.
Look, apparently from the moon
Here's-
they saw the
here's
whole
the-
thing, right? Why is
I forgot where I read where I saw that information at, Bill, but it had some really great close-up footage of them, and how the pollen actually like kind of jumps and sticks to the little fur on that they have like on where they carry the pollen at. And then when they can't really carry no more, then they go on back, because you see them the way they wipe it off. They wipe it off same way as you try to get rid of those little styrofoam things off your hands if you get them on you. Same thing. Really that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it too. I was like, oh yeah, that makes a whole bunch of sense. Because I always wondered what the fuck aerodynamics are behind flapping those wings real fast. I mean, and I think there were actually people that tried to replicate that type of motion to generate flight because they were on the wrong idea of it. They thought it was, because they're moving the air. No. It's the harmonics, man. Definitely the harmonics and the electrostatics. Cool shit, man.
Is there only
can
that
show
one
you-
picture? How many
here's
times
the-
have we been back to the moon? No
here's
other
the
pictures
crops.
from the moon except the one.
Here it is cropped. And it's the same thing I said it would be.
Well, crop it to be the same size.
That is
then.
Consonant is twice the size.
I think that's going to be
Yeah,
way
because
too
What is
it's-
blurry.
Ryan
like-
doing, man?
This is
You can see it's
closer.
massive.
You can change the size of the image and put it next to another image. to
Yeah,
make
and
it
that's
the same.
cheating.
No, it's not. What do you mean cheating? They're
That's
not trying to
Photoshop.
cheat anyone. That's just
That's
how
what
it
they
is.
did.
It may not be
That's what
complicated
they did.
Photoshop, but it
That
is
is
still
right,
Photoshop.
right.
I'll
It
resize
might be
it.
basic
what-
Photoshop,
it's
but
what they-
it's Photoshop nonetheless.
It's not that's not Photoshop. That's not.
Oh, yes, it
what
is,
Photoshop
sir.
is. No,
Did they not
Photoshop
say-
isn't.
Oh my God! I'm
Photoshop
sorry,
is an application owned by.
Look, man, all you got to do is take a picture from high fucking altitude and make it, crop it into a circle. That's all you got to do. Okay? It ain't because it went out far enough to see the fucking globe or nothing. No. It's just a high altitude and crop it into a circle. Black around the outside. Not fucking difficult to figure out, bro.
By Adobe.
Well, now you made that one bigger.
Let's be clear. Photoshop is an application owned by Adobe. It is not a method of doing things.
Okay, let's be clear. Let's be clear. If I prove those,
fair
if
enough.
I prove those pictures are fake, if I prove
Your
those
first
pictures
point.
are fake, do I get $5 grand from you?
Yeah.
Do I get $5 grand from you?
If you can prove that these are fake pictures, I will
Fake
give
pictures?
you
I get
£50,000.
$5 grand. Are you
I
admitting
will give you-
50,000?
I will give you, if you can show me that these are fake pictures, I'll give you 50
I can
grand.
prove they're fake. I get 50 grand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, hey, I knew there was a reason I took this debate.
I don't
knew
believe
there
What
was-
Yeah.
Ross? What Ross?
This
What
hasn't
you
been
need,
a complete waste of time.
Ross? Find out the exact make and model of the globe, and it would be very easy to do.
Get the original images and run them through photo forensics, man. It's that real simple. I've run them through before and it says that they're fucking fake.
Here we go. So here is my Discord. I just want to show you quickly. And me talking to my friend Tommy Gronville. And here's the pictures that he actually sent me. So as you can see, they're there. The one on the top was
Shout out
taken
Tommy.
10 inches away with a 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter lens from 10 inches away. And the one on the bottom was taken with a 350 millimeter lens from 15 to 18 foot away. So
That
there's
makes
the
it. Right,
globes.
this is the point, though. Even if that is possible, which obviously it is, because you're showing us, right?
You moved the ball,
that-
didn't you?
But that doesn't
No.
prove that that's what they did
Move
up
the
there.
camera.
Hold on.
Why
That
is
doesn't prove
why-
that that's
They
what they
moved the
did. It's all
camera.
I have a
speculation.
question. I have
We're
a
talking
question.
about
then.
what's possible right now, not what
I have-
actually happened. All right.
I have
By
a
the way-
question about this. How is the baseboard like twice the size in the bottom one? When they're the
Because
same?
one is closer than the other. The camera on the top one is only 10 inches away. The
Mhm.
camera on the bottom one is 15 to 18 inches away, but zoomed in. All right. The one on the top is close but zoomed out. The one on the bottom is far away but zoomed in.
It looks like an effect of the lens, but I'm
Yeah.
saying how
Well,
does
there
that
we
prove
go.
that-
That's the
why-
point.
Lens.
No. But the point is that's not.
It is the effect of the lens. It's not a good argument. It's not a good argument. Okay. But doesn't prove that the pictures are real either. Okay. Because if there is a way to do it, and you know that there is, it's been done. They recently had to say that this new star that this guy said he found was actually a piece of fucking pepperoni or something he took a picture of, was all. So it's easy to do that shit. Like I said, round circular picture. I mean, we're used to seeing pictures with square edges, but you can crop things into a circle, make it look at your little Facebook thing, right? Look at your YouTube thing, right? The picture you used for your YouTube profile right now, what was that? That was a square picture. Well, you cropped it down round. So high altitude picture, crop it down round. Oh, look, a planet. Easy peasy, Japanesey. So that's no good. No bueno. No soup for you.
Not proof
It
of why
looks
those
like an
pictures aren't fake.
optical illusion.
Yeah, that's not proof that those pictures aren't fake. What are you talking about? You're showing us the globe.
Which is
That's not proof of anything.
Ross, that is the point. The pictures that he
I
showed.
get the point. We get the point. We all get it, but you don't understand for some reason that this isn't evidence, buddy.
It's evidence that it can happen.
No, you
because
have
the
to-
position of the
I see
Can
camera.
this.
happen.
I see what
Not
happened.
that it did happen.
got it.
Can happen, not did.
I see what happened here. You have to hyper
That's
zoom
how
in
they
on the
can all be
continent.
true.
You have to-
Can, yes,
Sorry,
but you have to
what
prove that
did-
it is.
Right,
I'm not
hold on,
saying it's
hold on. Everyone
impossible that it's
stop 1
true.
second.
But you
Everyone
have to
please
prove
stop.
that it is.
Please,
All right.
1 second.
No, you've been interrupting everybody the whole time. Hell
I
no.
want
Let
to
me
hear what
finish.
Dustin said. I
I'll-
want to know what
you're not
Dustin
slick.
said.
You're not
All
slick.
right,
You
all
have
right.
to
10
prove that
seconds,
that's what
Ross.
happened.
10
all right?
seconds. Then we're
Ross,
gonna-
You have to
Ross, I would like to
prove-
hear what
I
Dustin
don't
said.
care what you would like. I don't care what you would like. You have to prove that that is
Dustin, what did you just
actually
say?
That
happened.
is time.
Hey,
Ross.
buddy, calm down.
Dustin,
Ross, I
what
gave
did
you
you
10
just say?
talking
seconds.
my whole
Right,
time.
Ross was
He was
shouting
talking
over
to
you, Dustin.
Every other word I said, he had something to say.
Sorry,
Come on.
Dustin. Ross is shouting over you. I didn't hear what you said, Dustin.
No, you were
Ross was
shouting over me.
you.
You were shouting over me.
All right.
I was having a conversation with Dustin. I'm
Sorry,
trying to hear what
Ross.
Dustin said. So,
1 second.
Ross, if you could calm down. Dustin, sorry, what did you say?
some of these countries look distorted, as though you have zoomed in so close to the ball that you're basically unable to get proper perspective, and therefore it is an optical illusion.
Go.
Optical illusion. Yes.
That is what is happening with the pictures that you have presented. Because
How do you know? How do you know?
Except that
What's
it
the
could
proof of
be.
that?
if I can
What's the
finish,
proof of that?
if I can finish what I'm saying, that would
Maybe.
be fantastic, right?
We tell you in the
This is
photo
what is
info.
happening.
We're gonna give the floor to
because-
FTF, you guys.
Right.
Just 1 second, Ross.
You don't have
What
a
is-
choice
what is
but to
happening
give the floor
is,
to FTFE.
right? With the pictures that you showed of all the different globes of different continents, some of those are taken from satellites that are really close, right? Let's say this is a satellite and this is the globe, right? Some of those pictures are taken with a satellite here, right? So you can only this satellite can only see certain bits of the globe, but some of those pictures are taken with the satellite over here, so you can see much more of the globe, and it's not going to look as distorted. You're going to see a different thing up here. You're only going to see tiny continents, large continents, because that is all that is in the field of view.
Do that experiment with those same two lenses, but don't do it on a globe. Do it on a person's face. And let's see what the level of distortion actually is. It's hard to tell with a circular object. Let's try it with other things and see what actually happens. You'd be surprised.
Out here, you see the entire thing. Simple.
No.
Yes.
Because the ball
I've
would go-
shown you the pictures.
Let him
Here
talk. We
are
just
the
heard
pictures
the
of
whole-
what's happening. Here is it happening. Don't say
wait,
no.
quiet.
Here
No,
is
let
it
me
happening.
speak.
We'll
Why
give
are
it to you
British
just 1
people so
second, Ozzy,
rude?
and you're
All right.
next. We'll give it to
I get a
Dustin
turn.
just to respond to what he just said there, and then we'll let you close
Literally
it out
here
there, Ozzy,
happening,
and before
you're
we go to
going,
Q&A.
no.
Okay?
Still going. Look. Trying to talk about me being triggered. Be quiet.
Do I get to
Oh my
talk?
God. No.
We're gonna give you 45 seconds there, Dustin, and then over to Ozzy. And
Ozzy-
before we
Ozzy
go
is
over
funny.
to the Q&A,
Okay.
1 second, Ross.
Uh,
You're so
two-
excited about this.
2 points. One, as you approach the ball, I'm going to use my flat model here, closer, it gets bigger and fills your entire view like you're landing on a planet in a space sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
Secondly, if you were to zoom out on Google Maps and see all those CGI and Photoshop and artistic type things, some of which are actually claimed, not only will you find like sex in some of the official photos, like written in the clouds, like the Obama one, for example, a bunch of replicated clouds, same pattern, same time, over and over and over. But you don't find on the Google Maps zoom out any actual satellites flying around in space. Where are all the
That's because they're
satellites?
not-
If there's over 25,000 official
Google Earth
satellites.
isn't real-time images. You do know that, right? Google Earth is just a computer
But
program.
where's
It's not
45
real-time.
where's
seconds,
the old
guys.
images of all the 25,000?
Everybody's getting put on
But
mute.
they
I gotta say, man, Dustin's putting out some really weak fucking arguments, man. I, as a flat earther, can destroy that one easily. I mean, of course, it's not going to show. It's not real time. It's high aerial photographs, and when you zoom out to a certain level, it's just a depiction of all that onto a globe. So no, that's a weak argument. Don't use that. Stop, you guys.
They don't put that in.
All right, everybody's getting put on mute.
They don't
Ozzy, and
catch
last
it 'cause it's
45
fake.
before we go into the Q&A. 45 seconds on
Me?
the floor. Yeah.
25,000.
Yeah, but also if they're on balloons, they show up. You got to really realize how much shit is airbrushed out and hidden on Google Earth. A good example of that is you go look around where China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station is. There's huge areas that have been obviously screened out. Okay, so they take shit out all the time, which means that they can probably add stuff if they want to as well.
Satellites would be like 25,000 vans. That's not very many. That'd be like 25,000 vans in a very, very small, like a stadium parking lot. So covering the whole Earth, a stadium parking lot. That's how many satellites you're talking about. Not that much covering the size. Secondly, all we showed with the videos is that it was possible to take those type of photos. You could deny space is fake. Oh, we didn't go to the moon, all the other stuff, but it is possible to take
10
those
seconds.
type of photos.
All right, with that, we are going to go into Q&A, guys. This has been lively, for sure, to say the least. So if you haven't gotten your questions in there yet, there's a lot of questions that we're going to try to roll through them here. I'm just going to check in with the debaters. If anybody needs to use the, the washroom, get yourself.
I was just about to say that I do need to use the ablutions. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, then in the meantime, while you do that, if anybody else needs to get a drink or anything like that, feel free to take advantage of this glorious opportunity. On top of that, yeah, this has been pretty lively, to say the least, everybody. Ozian's doing
Masonic checkerboard. Why do people think I support Joe Biden? Like I'm a libertarian. Dude.
How could you? Hey, I knew there was a reason I liked you, Ozian.
I want to get Joshua Smith on my channel. He's running as a libertarian candidate. He's a friend of mine.
You're supporting Joshua Smith. You're not supporting Rectenwall?
Well, whoever they nominate, I'll support.
Okay, you're right. They still haven't done their primary yet.
We're going to get down another rabbit hole, I feel like, if we start talking about that. Yeah, I was going to say, but in the meantime, yeah, if you're watching this here or elsewhere, hit the like button. That helps us out a lot, boosts it up in the algorithm. I see a lot of people voted in the poll there. So
you guys fucking crack me up, man. I sits to pee. I love it. This is nuts. We'll indulge a few questions here, and I think we're going to save this for a part 2. I'm kind of digging watching these guys losing their fucking minds, but it's all right.
Let me just close the poll out, and we're going to see where everybody is at. So did we land on the moon? There, 53% of you watching said yes. 37% of you said no. And then 8% of you said we can't land on cheese.
It's a British term meaning he's going to go empty his colostomy bag. He'll be all right.
It would be difficult. That would be hard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Although not impossible.
It depends how hard the cheese is, right?
So this audience has 3 times more deniers than the US has. It's sort of like interesting to see that you get more people watching these type of shows than the actual American population. Or
I don't know. I think we might just have convinced the other 20%. I don't know. I think that they just got convinced by hearing our arguments.
If anybody was convinced to take a side based upon this conversation, their epistemology sucks.
I wouldn't be convinced either way. If I came into it cold, I wouldn't be convinced either way. Based on all the shit that's been presented so far, it has not been convincing one way or the other. Not a bit. Need to focus on that fucking entropy problem, man. This is it's their Achilles heel.
Let's just say that.
We did not talk about epistemology, buddy. Hell no.
Well, that's not my point. I'm pointing that I'm making the claim that their understanding of claims to knowledge sucks if they were convinced based on this debate.
I thought you were saying basically based upon what they're looking at in history. Because I'm like, if you look at what's going on in history, there's no proof. There's just proof that everybody lies, especially the government.
Right.
I mean, that's the only proof we have is that they're lying for sure.
So, all right. So FTFE is back, everybody. Welcome back. We hope you feel better sitting there. Not let's get into the Q&A before I start making awful jokes. And thank you, everybody.
No, I want to hear the awful jokes.
No, I get in trouble. The people in the live chat pick on me. They hate it.
No, we're not going on now until I get a joke.
It'll come. Let's get into it though. And see what you.
Oh my God, Ozian's kissing his ball. He's kissing the balls, man. Sick motherfucker. Look at him.
You guys.
I got some good British jokes if you want to hear them. I'm just playing.
And I'll do my last little bit of housekeeping. If you like what you're hearing from our speakers, they are going.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to clip that. A dude sitting there petting his fucking globe, kissing it and shit. That's.
To be tagged individually where you can find more of them talking about the things that they care about on their channels. So check that out in the links in the description below. And even if you're watching on the podcast right now, because all of these are uploaded to podcast form within 24 hours. And you got a guitar. Now you've distracted me. Darn, now what have you done?
Right, me too. I'm like, look, you already
check this out though.
What is that?
Not bad.
My wife made this for me.
Oh, made.
People think your guitar is green screen, Ross. Is your guitar really there, Ross?
It's all here. It's all here. Yeah, it's not green.
Look, it's moving.
I can't reach it. I can't reach it, but it's there.
But he
It's
moved
there.
the drums. Okay, good.
yeah,
so
yeah.
now the conspiracy
yeah,
theory,
yeah.
it's all green screen has been debunked.
Dang it! I should have let the conspiracy theory keep going.
Ross is shredding it. You know, he's not actually here right
In
now.
a past life.
He's
Yeah,
playing.
in a past life.
He's playing bass right now. All right. So Megan Marie for $4.99. Thank you so much for your super chat. Asks Ozzy and FTFE team up. Hell yeah! This is going to be a good debate. Destroy the flat Earth information. All right, Megan Marie coming in with good vibes for you guys there. So thank you so much, Megan Marie. Icy Spin says, Ross, how does a lunar eclipse happen?
I just want to say real quick, I do really want to hear a debate between Ozian and Dustin. I know you guys mentioned that just like joking around, but that would be cool. This is not about lunar eclipses, all right? Prove to me that we went to the moon. If you want to know about lunar eclipses, come talk to me on my channel, all right? At Real Offended. There you go.
All right, let's carry on. Thank you so much. Maximiliano Villa says, I was in Hiroshima in 2019. Ross, do you want to go back with me and tell people there that nuclear bombs are fake? A little off topic, but we'll give it a couple.
Oh, I would love for you guys. I would love to go back there and see if there's actually a nuclear winter. I would love to examine how long it was before life was resumed normal back in Hiroshima.
Like the next fucking day.
I mean, I could be wrong because I've never been to Japan, but I've seen the reports, and it's not years of a nuclear winter. I know that for a fact. Because how long is a nuclear winter supposed to happen after an atomic bomb? How long did it take before they got back in there? Somebody let me know. Correct me.
All right, let's carry on there.
I just want to say, as a qualified nuclear engineer, the denial of nuclear weapons personally irks me.
Well, let's try to.
No one gives a flying rat's ass, Craig.
Not to go down
are you a fear
hole.
monger? Are you a fear monger?
Hold on, before you rabbit hole it. Come on now.
I'm like, let's not do that. We don't have anything to fear like that. Relax, guys.
We'll be right off on another wheelhouse here, guys. So before we get down there, having a full-on rodeo, let's carry on. Icy Spin says, yes, let's focus on the agenda, not the evidence.
Yeah, there was none, so that's all we can focus on. I'm like, dude.
Oh yeah, apart from
always follow the money. Always follow the money. Where's the most money going?
And NASA don't actually get that much, really.
Oh, really? I just want to say this. Because they always say like, oh, well, these other organizations lied. If I got $30 billion, how much money would I have to pay my friends to lie for me? Are you like, you guys really want us to assume that these people don't lie and can't lie?
What do you think they're doing with that money?
What planet do you live on?
What do you think they're doing with that money? Are they throwing constant parties with hookers and blow? They're spending it on
papers.
Let's say
papers convincing people like you that they should keep getting it.
Right.
That's it.
What they're spending it on is
spending it on movies.
Helium.
Helium. Virtual reality.
Hold on. Ross, what they're spending it on is the 17,000 employees, the 3,000 buildings, the amount of money they pay to their contractors, the going to space and developing stuff.
Propaganda is expensive.
Right. Very expensive. It's the number one expense in every business.
Yeah, but you need to show that it's propaganda. But
we already have.
It's propaganda.
No, you haven't. You claimed it's lies without any evidence for it.
We've destroyed NASA's credibility.
No, you didn't. You did not. You misunderstood everything. And
no, we destroyed NASA's credibility.
No, you didn't destroy NASA's credibility. You didn't.
Every government's credibility has been destroyed. In my first debate, you should never be the government organization for any reason.
My article here is called NASA, the Actors Guild of the Freemason Forked Tongue. Check it out. You'll absolutely love it.
Cool article.
Let's try not to do any screen shares in the Q&A.
Well, that was my answer, essentially.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's just try to pull from those references just where we're in Q&A, and we want to keep everybody on the screen.
That was my reference, but yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a Mason. Masonry requires you that you believe in a great architect or a god. Right. And I do not. So,
and actually, that's
why they won't swear on the Bible. That's why the astronauts will not.
That's why you're not an astronaut.
This is why the astronauts will not swear on the Bible that they went to the moon. You know why? Because they believe in God. That's why they punched him in the face when he said, "Swear on the Bible that you went to the moon." Imagine if somebody said, "Hey, I did something." I said, "Swear to God," and they said, "Nah, I won't swear to God." You're a liar, buddy. You won't swear to God. You won't even swear that you went.
Hold on.
Didn't go. Cut it out.
They worship Nimrod.
Ross, he wasn't religious, so there's that. He didn't want to swear on the Bible because if some random dude comes up to me and says, "Swear on the Bible," I'm probably going to punch him as well.
I doubt it.
No, he would. He hit some woman with a stick or something too. with his cane. So he's definitely got violent tendencies.
Get
He's
to
the type of guy that's
demand.
gonna punch
People don't
somebody.
get to demand other
But
things
why would
of
you
someone.
get mad? Why would look if you went to the moon? He said, "Hey, prove to
But
us you went
because
to the
he's
moon."
being
Swear on the Bible.
he's mad
What's
because
wrong
he's
with
being
that?
called a liar. He's mad because he's being called a liar.
If you're not a
He is a
liar,
liar.
you'd be like, "Hey, I'm not
But he's
lying.
not
I'm
a
not
liar.
lying."
He is
But
a
you
liar.
Call
guys
me a
just
liar.
claim
See
he's
if
a
I
liar.
get
That's
mad.
the thing.
If you call
He's
me
a
a liar,
liar.
I won't get
Alright.
mad. You know why? I'm not a
Well,
liar.
well,
I don't
they
lie.
had-
They had
Well, he's not
conflicting
a liar.
testimonies, as we covered in
No,
the
they
last
didn't.
debate.
Definitely a
They've
liar.
never
They had-
had.
It's true. Liars are the only ones that get upset about being called a liar. Somebody who has the truth knows it's true and doesn't give a fuck if you believe it or not. That's it.
They had
Conflicting
conflicting
testimonies.
testimonies. They described the
didn't.
background of
They
space as
didn't?
reddish
All right. Sorry,
and
Ross.
also as
We'll let
blackish. They had
Dustin in.
different descriptions of space. If you go actually
Yeah,
look at their
Because
testimony,
sometimes
all
it's day, sometimes
conflicting
it's not.
testimonies.
All right. Last
nice cherry
word over
picking.
to Ozian if you have one, and we're gonna move on.
Move on.
Okay. All right. I didn't hear too much from you
I
there,
just
so
I want to believe. I just don't know which version of NASA's bullshit to believe.
we are
Right.
funny.
Which one? Which lie?
You
Which
not
lie or that
understanding
lie?
that they're all the same is fine.
We are
Your personal
moving
incredulity,
on.
that's fine.
We
I
are moving
like
on.
the giant. I like the giant.
I want a real
And-
question is
Mute,
what I
mute,
want.
mute. Sorry, guys, we're moving on. All right, so Mystic Hydra. Dustin, you mentioned petrification. Petrification typically takes longer than 2,000 years, or however young you think the Earth is. That one's for you, Dustin.
Okay, so moon rocks. I just want to mention in terms of the evidence I was talking about. I think in terms of moon rocks were petrified. That is from NBC News here, the Dutch National Museum, etc. That's the evidence. Is that the answer to the question, or are we just talking about petrification in general?
Right, because that's patently false.
How
That
are we screen
petrification
sharing
takes
again?
2,000
My
years.
goodness, let's
Sorry,
stop
sorry.
that.
Right. Okay. So,
Chain of
So
custody. Well, first of all, the chain of custody wasn't preserved for that rock. It wasn't a moon rock. It was verified as not being a moon rock. There's lots of rocks that have been verified as being a moon rock.
and it wasn't
Like
from
the-
that.
Which ones?
None of them were.
rock-
They were all
Which
fake.
ones? Which ones?
No, they weren't. Right. Okay.
And-
So specifically, that petrified moon rock wasn't even from NASA. It was given by some ambassador for a thing, but no one ever claimed it was actually from NASA.
Well, I want to
no
see
one
the
at-
real ones.
No one at NASA
Yeah, they
ever
did.
claimed. No, they
The
didn't. No one
Dutch,
at
the Dutch government went to take insurance on
hold
it.
on. Nobody.
That's how they found out it was
Nobody
fake.
at
They were
NASA.
wrong.
Hold on. Nobody at NASA. And let's be clear about this. Nobody at NASA ever said that was a real moon rock. All right. No
The U.S.
one,
government
ever.
did. The U.S.
No,
government
they
did.
didn't.
To numerous other world leaders,
No,
and
no,
they were
again,
all
he's either
found to be
uninformed
moon
or-
rock
or he's
fakes.
lying.
Okay. So again,
All
right.
were
So
fake.
let's be
Uninformed or
clear.
lying?
You're denying a
be
very
clear.
obvious, easy
Hold on,
to verify
let's-
truth.
Right, we know
I
this.
feel like I should be able to talk, but I keep getting interrupted. Right.
You're going to talk about moon rocks, man. Let's look at the story behind them bringing them back. So they had these metal cases, these like suitcase things, and they'd seal up. And what they wanted to do was preserve the moon's atmosphere in the case with the rocks to bring them back, which is roughly 10 to the negative 11 torr, or negative 10 to the 11. All right, so what do we got going on here? We're going to bring this object back to Earth, sealed up, into a 14.7 psi environment. How the fuck did you get it open? How did you even get it open? See, none of their shit makes any sense. How did the case not crush in? How did the case not crush in and destroy the rocks and turn them into powder? See, this is crazy. No, moon rocks are actually buds that are soaked in hash oil and then rolled in keef. And then they were quite popular for a while.
Keep interrupting everybody else. That's why.
Dig the hole deeper.
Ross, okay, so again, nobody at NASA, not one single person at NASA ever said that that bit of petrified wood was a moon rock. No one at NASA ever said that. It was a miscommunication by somebody. It was given by an ambassador as a gift. It was never, ever, ever from NASA. There are lots of real moon rocks that can be found and seen.
Prove
Can we
it.
bet on that? Can we bet on that one too?
I saw all kinds of moon rocks in the Mojave Desert. For fuck's sake.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
bet.
Why do all
Yeah,
the
sure.
governments say they were fake, and then when they tried to take insurance out on it?
One.
Yeah, it
100%.
wasn't from
100%
NASA.
of
It
them.
was not from NASA.
One.
From the
Not
U.S.
100%
government.
of it.
Same source of same
I
nonsense.
never don't even want to teach
Look,
him. I just want to bet
nobody
him so I
from
can use
NASA
the money.
One.
ever
I
said
never
it.
don't even want to. I definitely don't even want to correct you guys. I just want to bet.
It's
I
not
get
all
it.
of them.
Again,
It's
I wanna
crazy.
let you keep
That's
going.
crazy. Like everybody knows
It
this.
wasn't
All right,
all
but
of
all
them.
right,
It
all
was
right.
one.
One.
Show which one was not found to be
Right.
fake.
Show the real one, please.
The rest of them.
The rest.
Show it.
me.
Show
What
it.
rest of them?
So any
So
which
there-
of the moon
okay.
rock gifts?
How many fucking silver dollars did Buzz Aldrin actually take up there with him? The motherfucker gives away these silver dollars he took to the moon with him, like all the time. And he must have had about $100 worth of silver dollars with him.
Were found to be
Pull
fake,
it
not
up.
fake.
All right.
Pull it up. Everyone take a shot. Pull it up.
Pull it up. Pull the real ones up. Yeah,
All right.
that's my.
Before we move on, I just want to check in as well. I know we already did breaks and stuff.
All right. I think this is a good point to cut this off for tonight. Yeah. Wow. So I'm not convinced either way. Weak arguments on both sides. I would have attacked the entropy. I would have the gas pressure. I would have nailed them on these fucking points. These are the points that they cannot get through. And that's where I would have took this. But everybody has their own techniques. It's also easy to sit back in armchair quarterback the shit when you're not in it too. So there's, go with that as well. So I'm just saying that's the one that gets me right off the bat. I'm sure there are those of you out there that would agree with me, but Rossi's new to it. Dustin probably needs to kind of stay off the theological aspect of it and go directly to the points. And I pointed out all the time, Flatzoid does, so does Lucky Haskins, man. Stick with what we can prove and observe. Okay. We can theorize on things. It doesn't discount that. But when it comes to these kind of things, keep in mind, the positive claim is that we actually went to the moon. I say, no, it's a physical impossibility. And that's where I would base my argument. Okay. And of course, you know where I'm going with that one. You know where I'm going to go with that one, man. They were getting to it with the heat transfer and that kind of thing. But and when he started with that pressure gradient bullshit, man, come on, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that pressure gradient. Notice that the word pressure precedes the word gradient. So in order to have the gradient, you got to have pressure. And in order to have pressure, you have to have containment. A gas does not have weight unless it's in a contained volume. It's the only way it can have a weight. So same thing with water. All right. So I think we're going to cut it off here tonight. We'll resume tomorrow, hopefully. And until then, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. A lot of good people in the chat, very smart and enlightened individuals. Good to see everybody. And we'll see you all again tomorrow night. Remember, until then, the Lord loves the working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably kill your ass. So till next time, good night.